I check you in Zoom.
Itu sudah klik. Di situ ada deal, start,
Halo?
Today, Andre, groceries, travel, and people. Oke, nomor itu berapa? Oke.
Click the plus button.
Hello, sir.
Halo, met Leo Haring.
Yeah.
That image. Wat krijg ik nog allemaal binnen?
Yang di sini sudah berhasil. Ya, nomor kamu udah masuk, makasih. Itu nomornya berapa? Terus caranya gimana?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello Leo.
Halo, Ibu Eli.
Hi Leo. Leo, how are you?
Fine. A little bit too early.
Yes, you must miss your kampung in Indonesia. Ya, Mbak Bunga ready, Mbak Bunga?
Apa? Udah nomornya kamu pakai enggak? Gimana?
Suaranya agak ribut. Ya. Pak Ade. Assalamualaikum Pak Cu. Assalamualaikum Pak Cu.
Nah, waalaikumsalam. Good afternoon.
Itu, ya Mr. Leo
Vice
already
leaders
there Pak Cu.
on the foreign country.
Yes, Mr. Leo. Also Hananto. Hananto now 1 o'clock early morning in Washington. Kurang gede apa sih?
Ya, assalamualaikum Pak.
Waalaikumsalam. Jangan ngantuk ya Tok. Jangan ngantuk. Kayaknya sih udah seger nih Hananto. Pak Wi gimana Pak Wi? Pak Prof Wihana?
Siap.
Alhamdulillah. Aduh seneng banget saya ngeliat Pak Wi. Seger buger Pak Wi.
Ya,
Nomor apa?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Gimana?
Pembicara lain belum masuk ya, Pak Ade?
Tinggal dari Korea.
Keluar lagi.
Hah? Yang lain udah. Kok di ini saya nggak ada ya?
Yang tadi. Oh, ada.
Hai Su. It's Su from Korea.
Sama yang seperti kamu tadi, persis.
Hello Su. Hi Su. Hi, it's from Korea. Where is Mr. Joe?
Oh,
he's
betul
not
ya.
here yet.
Ah,
I think he will be accessing soon.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Maybe I need to.
Okay. Mbak Bunga ready, Mbak Bunga?
Bismillah Ibu, semoga lancar semuanya. Semangat.
Iya, udah cerah
Pakai
banget.
apa namanya? Pakai fit call.
Bu Eli, you look younger ya now.
Gimana Pak Wi?
Ya, Bu
Look
Eli ya.
younger. Kelihatan muda, look younger.
Pak Wi juga.
Fit call. Ya.
How is the weather in Netherlands? How is the weather in Netherlands? Jason, somebody? Jason's?
Busita,
Yeah.
Pak Leo diingatkan jangan pakai baby voice.
Oh, Mr. Leo Haring, there is echoing from your computer. Perhaps you open to Zoom webinar on you,
Yang mana sih?
Leo Haring.
Yeah. Please can you repeat?
Hello,
I mean-
Leo.
Ini ya.
Yeah, I guess you open Zoom webinar into
Yeah,
apps or into gadget.
Udah, next.
Then one
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be muted.
Daniel belum.
Log out aja Busita.
Nah, ini
Yang satu
Daniel
belum.
belum.
earphone. Kelihatan nggak?
Daniel belum ya, Daniel, Pak Ade. Halo Pak Ade.
Tadi sudah ada, Bu. Tadi sudah ada. Lagi connecting.
Daniel.
Tadi
Daniel
sudah ada
belum.
lagi connecting.
Hello Joe. Hello Joe. Hello Joe. Oh, dia masih problem itu sama ininya. Daniel tadi sudah ada.
Tadi sudah ada, Bu. Tadi sudah ada.
Ini nggak ada lagi ya? Oh, ada. Daniel belum kelihatan ya? Belum Pak Ade?
Tadi udah ada, udah join. Tadi barusan live lagi. Lagi dihubungi sama penghubung, Bu.
Yeah, because Daniel will be the first speaker.
Sip lihat, sip. Salah. Udah. Oke, makasih. Bentar, aku anu dulu ya. Makasih. Ya.
Halo Pak Yani. Halo Pak Yani. Halo Pak Yani. Pak Yani.
Gula merah semua.
Oh, Yani nggak kedengaran.
Nambah merah yang ini yang buat
Hello, Hello, Mr. Seung Ho Jo. Can you hear me?
Hello, this is Sung Ho Jo.
Hi, nice to see you here. Thank you, Mr. Jo.
Thank you.
Yeah, you should come to Indonesia later, huh? With Su. Okay.
Bisa. Pak Leo deketan sama temennya kalau bisa, yang satu pakai headset.
Leo agak problem ya?
Sudah.
Sudah? Oke, 3 menit lagi.
3 menit, tapi Danielnya belum ya?
Sudah masuk, Bu. Sudah, Mas.
Yes, down there, yes. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Hello.
Selamat siang.
Hi, long time not to see you.
Very long time.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Now
Thank
it's very
you.
easy to come to Indonesia.
Sorry?
Now very easy to come to Jakarta.
Yes, very easy.
Very easy. Please come to Jakarta as soon as possible.
Yes, it is director. It's director
Bu
Pak
Eli.
Chu.
Hello.
Oke.
Yes.
Ibu, selamat pagi, Bu Eli, Kusnu.
No, it's attaché
Hey.
Netherlands.
Yeah, I'm with Pak Leo, Bu. It's okay, Pak Leo. Iya, Pak Leo.
Pak Kusnu.
So,
Thank you.
because you use the unmute, please.
What should I do now? It's okay now?
It's okay. No, it's okay. Please,
Yes, I
don't.
will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ibu cek dengar suara, Bu.
Okay,
Dengar
okay.
suara.
Good. Good, Pak
Okay,
Kusnu.
it's okay.
Good.
It's okay.
So Pak Ade, I think it is time.
Ya, 1 minute. Ya, Bu Bunga, please stand
Bunga.
by.
Ini kok yang
Baik, Pak.
galerinya
Ibu.
mana, Dri?
Bu Bunga,
Baik,
What
Bapak
mau
Ibu,
dibilang?
saya sudah
This
standby. 1 menit lagi.
suaranya kecil, Bu.
Nah, suaranya belum oke.
Ah,
Bu
like
Bunga
that.
suaranya
Okay,
kecil.
it's okay.
Yeah.
1 menit lagi, Bapak Ibu.
Ya,
Izin, bagaimana?
ya 1
Suara
menit.
saya sudah terdengar dengan jelas.
Suaranya Bu Bunga kadang kecil.
Agak kecil ya? Coba sebentar ya.
Semuanya nggak kelihatan, Dri.
Yeah.
Baik, Bapak Ibu and all the speakers, we're gonna start the webinar in 2 minutes. We're still waiting the other speakers. Oke, bagaimana Bapak Ibu? Apakah suara saya sudah terdengar?
Sudah. Bisa dimulai, Bu.
Ya, oke.
Oke ya, baik. Kalau begitu langsung saja kita memulai. Let's start the webinar for today. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our webinar, Benchmarking on Passenger Vehicle Public Transport Licensing Scheme Against Other Countries. Before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Bunga Harumdani, and it is my honor to be your host for today. Indonesia's newest government constitution of Cipta Kerja certainly affect the process of public transport license system, which will soon integrate it on online single submission or OSS. This might be the proper time to make a better public transport licensing system in Indonesia. With the collaboration of Directorate General of Land Transport, Ministry of Transportation of Indonesia, and Institute of Transportation and Logistic Trisakti, this webinar is attended by Indonesian Ministry of Transportation officials and international resource person who are expert in passenger vehicle public transport licensing system. And now we would like to welcome Professor Wihana Kiranajaya, MSOS PhD. Selamat sore, good afternoon.
Selamat sore, good afternoon Mbak Bunga.
As a ministerial staff on behalf Minister of Transportation Republic of Indonesia. Thank you for joining us. And I would like to welcome Dr. Andes Budi Setiadi, SAMSI, General Director of Land Transportation, Ministry of Transportation.
Saya matiin aja ya.
Selamat siang, Pak Budi Setiadi. Sudah bergabung dengan kami. Dan selanjutnya juga saya ingin mengucapkan selamat datang. Welcome to Director of Land Transportation, Ministry of Transportation, Mr. Ahmad Yani, ATDMT. And of course, Rector of Institute of Transportation and Logistics Trisakti, Dr. Chu Sukardiman.
Oke, Mbak Bunga, I welcome. Yeah, welcome to seminar.
Okay, and also Head of Trisakti Foundation, Dr. Bimo Prakoso.
Pak Yani, aku baca aja deh Pak Yani.
And tentunya, and of course our speakers, I would like to welcome Mr. Daniel Bongard, Team Leader GIZ, Germany. Good morning to you, Mr. Daniel. Is it right? Is this in the morning in Germany?
Yes, selamat siang to Jakarta.
Yeah, selamat siang.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, and then I would like to welcome to Mr. Sung Hojo, City Advisor, Seoul Metropolitan Government, Korea. Thank you for your coming, Mr. Sung Hojo. And then Dr. Jason Chang, Professor, National Taiwan University. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Chang. And Mr. Leo Haring, Director of HRL Consultancy, Netherlands. Thank you for your coming, Mr. Leo. And also Dr. Hananto, Indonesia Transport Attaché in Washington, D.C. And of course, Dr. Eli Sinaga as a transportation expert. We would like to express gratitude to all for making the time attending our webinar. We hope everyone in good health. And I think we should be proud about this webinar because right now, this webinar is attended by close to maybe 300 participants. And of course, by YouTube and Instagram of Trisakti. We would like to express gratitude to you all. Okay. For the first time, to mark the beginning of our event, we will witness together a welcome remarks from the Counselor of Institute of Transportation and Logistics Trisakti, Mr. Rector. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Chu Sukardiman.
Thank you, Mbak Bunga. The Honorable Minister of Transportation of Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Insinyur Budi Karya Sumadi, who are pleased to be the keynote speaker in today's webinar. We warmly welcome you and thank you for the important contribution of our collaboration between Trisakti, Institute of Transportation and Logistics, ITL, and experts from the other countries, especially Mr. Song Ho from Korea, Mr. Daniel Bongard from Germany, Mr. Leo Haring from Netherlands, and Mr. Jason Chang from Taiwan. Thank you very much. To solve the problem related to the road transportation regulation and to give recommendation to the talk of the town, the Omnibus Bill on Job Creation, or as we call Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja di Indonesia. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome and thank you for joining us in today's international webinar on benchmarking passengers vehicle public transport licensing scheme against other countries. The webinar is organized by the Ministry of Transportation and Trisakti, Institute of Transportation and Logistics, ITL. As your rector, I very much welcome and support this session, especially with honorable speakers from the other countries and colleagues from the foreign academicians. The highest appreciation is given to the speakers from the other countries who are willing to share the experience related to the road transportation regulation. I also would like to thank all the speakers, especially from the Ministry of Transportation and the Directorate General of Land Transportation, who are willing to receive recommendation of the road transportation permit regulation, which directly related to the needs of all levels of society in terms of their socio and economic status. Hopefully, this international webinar could formulate transportation regulation to respond and anticipate the dynamic of socio-political and economic development, as well as other related multi-sectoral developments, as the government planning on the implementation of the job creation law, Trisakti, Institute of Transportation and Logistics ITL, in collaboration with universities of foreign experts, as well as the Ministry of Transportation, could contribute ideas to solve the national problems related to the road transportation regulation in Indonesia. Last but not least, as director of ITL Trisakti, from the deepest heart would like to gratitude to Dr. Eli Sinaga as initiator and organizer, chief executive of the webinar, and also for all of the organizing committee members from Ditjen Perhubungan Darat and ITL Trisakti. Thank you for Mr. Bunga to host the webinar. Next, we welcome Dr. Bimo Prakoso, MPA, MSc, as the chairman of the Trisakti Foundation to open the webinar. And then also we welcome Minister of Transportation Republic of Indonesia, who will be representing by Professor Dr. Wiana Kirana Jaya, MSc PhD, as the special staff of the Minister Transportation Republic of Indonesia will deliver the keynote speech from Minister. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rector, Dr. Chu Sukardiman. Can we all give the virtual applause to Mr. Rector? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Now, please allow me to introduce the head of Trisakti Foundation, Dr. Bimo Prakoso, whom will give an opening remarks. Dr. Bimo?
Good morning, kerja, 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 sukses. His Excellency Minister of Transportation of Republic of Indonesia yang sangat kami cintai, hormati dan banggakan, Bapak Insinyur Budi Karya Sumadi. Thank you for the support of this international webinar and also the opportunity to become a keynote speaker on this international webinar. Although we understand that His Excellency is very busy working for this lovely country. Thank you also to our excellent and dearest friends and distinguished speakers. First, Mr. Seung Ho from Korea. Second, Mr. Daniel from Germany. Third, Mr. Leo from Netherlands, and fourth, Mr. Jason, my brother from NTU Taiwan. On this opportunity, also thank you to all Indonesian experts on land transportation who will be very active joining and directing this international webinar. Today, on behalf of Trisakti Foundation and Institute Transportation and Logistics Trisakti, I officially open this international webinar. May God bless us. I hope that all participants will pay best attention and best focus on this very important international webinar. Good luck. Work hard, work hard, work hard, and success.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bimo Prakoso. Work hard, work hard, work hard. Thank you for the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in our webinar, and the first keynote speech will be given by Ministerial Staff, Professor Wiana Kirana Jaya, on behalf of the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Budi Karya Sumadi. Professor, you may begin.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Bunga. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. God bless us, yeah. Especially distinguished, yeah, head of the Sakti Foundation, Mr. Dr. Bimo Prakoso, distinguished rector of ITL, Dr. Cuk Sukardiman, distinguished General Directorate, Mr. Budi Setiadi, distinguished team leader GIZ, Mr. Danis Bogart, and also distinguished director of SRL, Consultant Netherlands, Mr. Leo Haring, also distinguished city advisor of Seoul Metropolitan Government Korea, Mr. Cheng Yu-ho, and then distinguished professor National Taiwan University, Dr. Johnson Chang, distinguished Indonesian transport expert, Mrs. Dr. Eli Sinaga, our friends, and then distinguished transport attaché of Washington, Dr. Hananto, and also Pak Sunu, this attaché from Netherlands, yeah. And then distinguished Special Official Minister of Transportation, all Senate Institute ETL members, participant, logistics Sakti, our webinar participant. Thank you very much. First of all, allow me to read the minister keynote speech, but minister also gave a special regards to all the participants in the webinar, especially to Pak Cuk Sukardiman, yeah, this very send a regard Pak from him. Second, also Ibu Eli, the initiator, yeah, and it's about 3 weeks ago, Ibu Eli communicated with me, asked me to be a moderator this program. But anyway, at the time last 2 weeks, I got what we call OTG COVID. Yeah, COVID. I have to take a rest 1 week and hospital and 1 week at home. Yeah, now I got recovery back. That's why yesterday my minister sent me directed to substitute him because he's busy. He's on another important meetings. Yeah. But anyway, he also sent us to appreciate this program. Well, let me read the minister's keynote speech. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all speakers from abroad who willingly spare their precious yet busy time, and not to mention time difference between Indonesia and other countries like Netherlands and Germany, and also from America, from Taiwan, also from Korea. Yeah. Minister very appreciate about this. Yeah. And then Republic of Indonesia, as we know, is a country, thousands of islands, yeah, which now has population more than 260 million people, with different kind of livelihoods, activities, road infrastructures, growth for both toll and non-toll roads, and growing number of tourist sites, causing an increase in demand of public transport services, particularly road transport using passenger car and bus to accommodate the movement within urban area, intercity, to and from transport nodes, tourism site, and other destinations. Many of Indonesian people prefer to choose road public transport because they are much cheaper and easier to get. Aside from that, intercity road public transport are now much faster in the travel time because there are already available new toll roads across Java Island from west to east and some part of Sumatra, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and Bali. To guarantee the regularity, safety, and fairness, need policy in the form of licensing scheme to run road public transport business. While over time, Minister of Transportation always improve the service in the licensing scheme by using information technology development. Recently, Indonesia government issued the new omnibus law called Job Creation, Cipta Karya bill, and one of the goals is to simplify business and investment licensing scheme, included road public transport business licensing. All the business and investment licensing will be integrated digitally in one of system called online single submissions. Thus, the business and investment licensing process will be easier and faster than before. With this international webinar, hopefully we can discuss with and learn from the transportation expert from abroad, like Germany, Netherlands, from America, from South Korea, and also from Taiwan. As we know in this webinar, they are experts, from many countries, Korea, Taiwan, to compare the road transport licensing scheme policy with the one that we have in Indonesia. This is our benchmarking study from our listener from other countries to us. So we can learn and adapt into making the new and better licensing scheme in order to provide better public transport services for all people who live in all over Indonesia. Once again, thank you to the speakers, the discussions, the MOT official, the ITL Trisakti Senat, and all webinar participants. I hope this webinar will bring many benefits to all of us and will create many more cooperation to come. Enjoy the webinar. God bless us all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor. We are glad that you are now in recovery and looking very healthy. As a token of appreciation from the organizing committee, we would like to hand over a certificate to the Minister. The certificate will be received by Professor Wihana Kirana on behalf of Minister of Transportation. We humbly ask Mr. Rector, Dr. Chu Sukardiman, to symbolically hand over the certificate.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, and on behalf of Prof. Wihana, that is representing the keynote speech from Excellency Minister. I would like to give Professor, on behalf of Mr. Minister, the certificate of the webinar.
Thank you very much, Pak Chu. Thank you very much.
Pak Wihana, sampai ketemu Pak. Sehat ya Pak? Bapak sehat.
Certificate of keynote speaker. Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you, Mr. Rector. Okay. And now our next speaker will give a presentation for us to dig further into our theme today. Everyone, please welcome the Director General of Land Transportation, Mr. Budi Setiadi. Kepada Pak Budi Setiadi kami persilakan.
Ya, terima kasih. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Special thank for moderator, Mrs. Bunga, distinguishing Minister of Transportation, distinguished Head of Trisakti Foundation, distinguished speaker from Germany, Netherlands, Korea, and Taiwan, and then distinguished Indonesia Transport Attaché of Washington, D.C. First of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Budi Setiadi. I'm Director General of Land Transport Ministry of Transportation. In this precious opportunity, I would like to present a brief explanation about current passenger roads public transport licensing scheme in Indonesia and the expected improvement. Next slide. My presentation consists of 4 parts. They are regulation, type of passenger roads, public transport service, licensing procedure, and licensing online system called Spionam, and the expected improvement. Next slide. In Indonesia, we have some type of regulation in passenger road public transport licensing scheme from law, government regulation to Minister of Transportation regulation. Those regulations are divided into 5 parts. Part 1, regulation of passenger road public transport with fixed route services operational. And then regulation of passenger road public transport with unfixed route services operational, regulation of electronic integration business licensing in land transport, regulation of minimum services standard in passenger road public transport, and regulation of minimum services standard in passenger road public transport with unfixed route services operational. Next slide. There are two major types of passenger road public transport services in Indonesia that mostly using passenger car and bus. The first one is passenger road public transport with fixed route that consists of international cross-border transport. It services between two different cities and different countries. And then intercity inter-province transport. It services between two different cities and different provinces. And then intercity within provinces transport, it services between two different cities within the same provinces. And urban transport, it services within an urban area, and rural transport, it services within a rural area. The second is passenger road public transport with unfixed route that consists of taxi, public transport using car passenger with taximeter. Particular purpose transport, it services for a particular purpose and destination. Tourism transport, and then selected area transport. Next slide. In this slide, we can see recent statistic data for intercity inter-province transport in Indonesia. The number of passenger road public transport company is 556 companies. The number of vehicles is 12,568 vehicles, and the number of routes is 2,473 routes. Next slide. In this slide, we can see recent statistic data for tourism transport in Indonesia. The number of passenger road public transport company is 1,070 company. The number of vehicles is 12,834 vehicles. Slide 7. Currently, there are two types of licensee in road public transport in Indonesia. The first one is business licensee. This license is given to a company that has fulfilled the requirement valid for 5 years. The main requirements are the company owns at least 5 vehicles. The company has a garage to store all vehicles. The company has a maintenance vehicle. The second one is operational license and monitoring card for passenger road public transport with fixed route. This license and card is given to each vehicle valid for 1 year and must be renewed annually. One vehicle is only allowed to serve one route only as written in the card. For passenger road public transport with unfixed route, the license is only monitoring card that also valid for 1 year. The main requirements are the vehicle has passed types inspection and period inspection, and the vehicle has an active GPS installed. Slide 8. In this slide, I will show the process of licensing in intercity inter-province transport. First step, the verified company apply for the business license request. They will be asked about how many vehicles that will be operated. If they have 5 vehicles or more, they may process to the next step, which is choosing which route that will be served by their vehicle. Each route is subject to vehicle quote, so if the route is still available, then they may process to the next step. Second step, the company has to input the detailed information about each vehicle and will be verified. This step, the business license degree, the operational license and monitoring cards will be given to the company. Next slide. In this slide, I will show the process of licensing in tourism transport. First step, the verified company apply for the business license. They will be asked about how many vehicles that will be operated. If they have 5 vehicles or more, they may process to the next step. In tourism transport, the license is subject to tourism vehicle quote for the province that company reside. If the quote is still available, then they may process to the next step. Third step, the business license and monitoring card will be given to the company. Slide 10. Since 2018, the licensing process has changed from manual system into online system called Spionam, Sistem Perizinan Online Angkutan dan Multimoda or Public Transport Online Licensing System. The company on that will apply for business license register their company through this website, spionam.debhub.go.id. After register and get the Spionam account, then the company process to licensing process under supervision by Road Transport Director, the Director General of Land Transportation. Next slide. This is the display of Spionam homepage. In this homepage, the main menu are account register, Spionam manual book download, company searching, vehicle searching. In this slide, we can see the different and advantage of Spionam compared to manual system. Manual system take more time, the process is longer and more complicated, inputting data by DGLT officer, non-tech government, information given by phone. Spionam system take less time, the process is easier, inputting data directly by company, more bank option to pay non-tech government revenue, information given by app and email. Next slide. In this slide, we can see the Spionam licensing process flowchart. The step in flowchart are: first step, the company own register to have Spionam account. Second step, the company own inputting company data. Third step, the company data is verified. Fourth step, the company apply the business license. Fifth step, the section chief verify the number of vehicle and the vehicle quote. Sixth step, the division chief verify and final check. Seventh step, director approval. Eighth step, the company pay non-tech government revenue. From the fifth step to the last step, take less than 7 days and will be pushed to less than 5 days. Next slide. In this international webinar, I would like to present our expected improvement in road public transport licensing system as follows. The license company that runs passenger road public transport with fixed route will be more flexible in fleet management of all licensed vehicles to serve all routes that they have according to their business license. All licensed vehicles will have more flexible monitoring card that allow one bus to serve more than one route according to the company business license. Find a new way to solve the problem of unlicensed companies and unlicensed vehicle existence. Using the new ways and more advanced information technology to keep on develop the new road public transport licensing system in order to provide better, easier, and faster license process. I hope that today we can learn from European and Asian speakers best practice and adapt them well, so our expected improvement in road public transport licensing system will become reality soon enough. Once again, thank you so much to all speakers discussion, and all webinar participants. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Mbak Bunga.
Terima kasih Bapak Budi
Terima kasih,
Setiadi.
Pak
Beri tepuk
Dirjen.
tangan virtual applause untuk Pak Dirjen. Mr. Budi Setiadi has kicked off our webinar by giving a brilliant insight about how the public transportation licensing works in Indonesia. I know that we are looking forward to our next part of the webinar, the presentations from our 4 extraordinary speakers from overseas. They will provide us with insight about transportation in their country, specifically about passenger vehicle public transport licensing scheme. Right after, we will have a panel discussion by 2 of Indonesia's transportation experts. And of course, we will have a Q&A sessions before the end of our webinar. To ask the questions, please put your question to the Q&A box. With this particular format, type your name, space, question, space, to whom the question is directed. Again, the Q&A session will be held in the end of discussion session. Without further ado, on behalf of the organizing committee, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our international webinar, a dedication from the Ministry of Transportation of Indonesia and Trisakti Institute of Transportation and Logistics. The first presentation will be given by our expert from Germany, Mr. Daniel Bongard. Mr. Bongard is the team leader of GIZ Germany and was involved in various sustainable transportation projects, not only in Germany, but also in some countries like China. Okay, once again, good morning, Mr. Bongard.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Although we would always want to hear more, but we only have 20 minutes. And allow me to remind you when the time is 5 minutes left.
Of course, excellent.
Okay.
So I'll share my screen and I hope it works. Please indicate if you can see my presentation.
Okay, you may start the presentation, sir.
Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Excellent. So yeah, selamat siang. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear honorees from the Ministry of Transport. It's a big honor for me to present today and speak to you and give you some insights from Germany. I understand, so this is a quite important topic for Indonesia. And even if it has been a while that I have been in Jakarta, so I still have very good memories to cooperation from GIZ together with the Ministry of Transport. So GIZ is a German international corporation implementing jointly agreed projects between the German government and so those countries we have partnerships with, and Indonesia is certainly one quite important one where we are cooperating in terms of public transport in the so-called Sutrinama project, but also in terms of the freight transport in terms of the transfer project. So here's a long-standing and long-established cooperation, and it's a big honor for me to speak to you today here from Germany. So my presentation today, I'll try to give you some insights into the German system, and yeah, please ask questions afterwards if you want some further additional ones. So just to start maybe with some aspects that are not related to licensing, but I just want to mention that also public transport in Germany is affected quite severely by the COVID crisis. And in this picture here, you see the drop of people traveling with public transport in March and April this year. And you see especially that both car transport, but as well transit, which is a light gray transport here, that those dropped really significantly in that time. And public transport operators. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Bongat, your presentation is not showing.
Oh, I thought you can see it. I asked you.
We did see. Okay, now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
now.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So here you see in the graph, which is showing March and April this year, how the transport volume dropped in the first weeks by almost 50%, and public transport, which is this light gray here, was really severely affected by it, and public transport operators suffer from it. So there's a gradual market recovery, but so there's still quite some problems. And so the public transport sector expects 3.5 billion euros of losses in 2021 still. And as public transport is subsidized in Germany, and it's a public service, so where the government and also the city governments has a duty to provide these services to the people of Germany, it's also a major issue for the government on how to provide those resources to continue supply in the future. So this is the current situation, and my rest of the presentation goes to so the system on how public transport is developed. So first of all, quick overview to my presentation. So I start with a quick development of public transport in Germany, then touch the regulatory system, and finally, so have examples for tendering bus services. I picked the city of Frankfurt, which many of you know who have been flying to Germany. So last but not least, I want to also mention how public transport is funded in Germany, because it's an important topic here. You see some key dates where Germany is located in the middle of Europe. So in terms of transportation, Germany is also quite affected by cross-border traffic, because from east to west and from north to south, basically everybody is passing through Germany. And last but not least, I have to mention that Germany is a federal state. So we have 16 states or provinces. And so they're quite important for the public transport provision, because they have the authority to regulate and also to finance and issue public transport services. So the regulations from state to state is slightly different. This just shows a few pictures on how public transport is provided. You see maybe on the upper left corner, famous ICE train, which is a high-speed train for long-distance transport. But then you see trams and regional trains, subways, and here another regional train, but even ferries count under public transport to some extent and are regulated. And on the left bottom corner, you see also the long distance buses who have been in place since 2013 only, or 7 years now. So this is a development of public transport passenger demand in passenger kilometer, billion passenger kilometers since the 1950s, so after the Second World War. And you see there have been an increase until the early 80s. But in the 80s, so there was a severe public transport crisis, which mainly was related to the high increase of ownership of cars and individual transport. So people started to travel everywhere, and public transport was in a severe crisis because the service quality was low, lines were cut, and people preferred to travel by car instead. So you see here's a decline in the 90s even, so there's an increase of the population. And then in the early 90s, there was a public transport and railway reform that deregulated the public transport provision from state-owned companies towards more involvement of the private sector, and also towards more investments. So quite a huge investment from the federal government was taken to upgrade public transport services, both the long-distance services as well as in cities. So after the 90s, it also experienced the reunification of Germany, of East and West. So there was again an increase, and since then public transport is increasing constantly. So you see the yellow part is railways. There's quite a lot of investment into urban rail and also into regional rail, so for distances less than 50 kilometers. So then you see also that the road transport is also growing, but growing to less extent. In terms of mode split, you see that Germany is currently, of course, dominated quite a lot by private cars. And one main difference to Indonesia, I guess, is that especially in the rural areas, everybody is owning 1 or 2 cars. So we have quite a high car ownership in rural areas, while in cities, car ownership is lower. So for example, in Berlin, we have 350 cars per 1,000 inhabitants, while in the place where I grew up, a little bit east of Cologne here in the rural area, I guess there are almost 700 cars per 1,000 inhabitants, so double the number of cars. And so this is a specific feature you see also here in this graph, so that in low density rural districts, public transport volumes are very low. However, in cities, it's quite important. This graph shows passenger kilometer and not trips. So in terms of number of trips, you would see that maybe the share of cars is less, is about 30% in cities, while public transport has another 30 to 40%, and walking and cycling is relevant for the rest. So this is passenger kilometers, so the share of longer distances of cars, of course, are higher. So this just gives you some insights where we are in Germany. So I really wanted to show you this graph because this shows the public transport regulation in Germany. And I really do not recommend you to copy this. So the public transport regulation in Germany is very complex, and so there are many different small laws and financing streams and regulatory aspects. So for example, so there are quite a lot of different actors responsible, and I try to give you some insights into this, but also the financing stream, for example, how pupils getting to school and how their tickets are financed is very different from handicapped people. And then some subsidies maybe for the poor people. And so then there are other subsidy streams for infrastructure investment and other subsidy streams for operations. So it's a very complex system. To make it a little bit more simple, I would like to mention that we have to differentiate between the local public transport and the long distance public transport. And so this is these 2 dimensions in the columns. And then we have 2 main laws. One is for railways, the General Railway Act, and another one is for road transport, which is a Passenger Transport Act, which is one of the most important ones and also regulates the licensing for transport companies. So here you see for public transport in cities, it regulates bus, metro, and tram. And for express coaches, it regulates the long distance transport, especially since 2013 when it was deregulated. So I hear voices in the back. Try to continue. So this slide shows the main institutions that are relevant, and basically so you have to distinguish between 3 levels. The first level is the policy level that sets the regulatory framework, And as I mentioned in the beginning, the states are especially responsible. So each of the 16 states has a public transport law that regulates the provision of public transport in this specific state. Then, of course, for the provision of the public transport, the cities are responsible, or in the rural areas, the counties. And so those institutions, they are always in the board of the public transport companies or of the regulatory authorities. Because the management level is not done directly by the city, but it's done by public transport organizations and management organizations or public transport associations, so-called Verkehrsverbund. And those transit alliances, they really help also in regional coordination. So their task is to also bring together the different cities in the metropolitan area. So for example, in the city of Frankfurt, it's not only the city of Frankfurt, but all the surrounding cities are part of the transit alliance. And they take joint decisions in order to provide the best services for the people. And it's not just one government body for its jurisdiction. Last but not least, we have to look at the operator level. And so while there's a unified planning on the management level, operators can be very different. So different bus lines can be provided by different operators, but the planning for the bus lines is done on the management level. And so this system ensures that there's a service quality, a unified design and outlook to the city, unified ticketing system, and not each of the operators have their own ticket system and their own view on this. So it really provides a high service quality to the people. So this is about licensing, and basically, so it's relatively easy to get the license as a public transport operator in Germany. And so one of the key features is that safety and efficiency of operation is guaranteed. So there's a proof of the company that is registered as a company towards the authority to say the financial capability, and also having the financial means and being able to implement this. So this needs to be proved to the authority. And so then there's a proof of reliability of the applicant. And so there's also the proof that you need the technical qualification for doing it, so that there's a manager to be appointed, and so he needs to be qualified for this, but also then the person designated as transport manager needs the technical qualification, and so to ensure that they have the education to provide the services. Basically, so,
you have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank
Basically,
you.
this is the system to register a public transport company. However, so if you have registered your public transport company, you're not allowed to operate on all the routes, because the licensing of routes is a different system, and a second system that only allows one operator to operate one route. So this ensures that there's no competition on one line, and all the operators run maybe in deficits or need to be subsidized, but there's rather one operator that is providing the services and get the ticket revenues of everybody. So instead of having different competitors running on the same route at the same time on one day, so in Germany, the competition is among the licenses. So every 5 to 8 years, there's a tendering of the licenses. And this is my example here of the city of Frankfurt. So first of all, this is a regional transport alliance. It's not only the city, as you see here, which is the city of Frankfurt in the middle, and here's the airport, but it's also the surrounding metropolitan area, and even the rural parts around that are integrated in that system. So it's 15 rural districts, 4 large cities, 7 medium-sized towns, and in total, it's more than 6 million people living in that area. while in the middle of Frankfurt, it's only about 1 million, maybe less than 1 million people living in the city center. So, and they are tendering the rail services so then also coordinating on the ticketing system here. When it comes to the bus lines, which are more local, so here you see the city center of Frankfurt. And what they have done is they have bundles of buses, and they have tendered out those bus line bundles towards different companies. So you see here, those are the 8 bundles of bus lines. And the rationale behind bundling the lines is that they are profitable lines and there are less profitable lines. And while bundling those licenses for the different or permits for the different lines together, they want to encourage the companies also to provide services on those routes that are less profitable, and to sponsor from very profitable routes back to the less profitable ones. However, even there are 8 bundles, you won't see a difference when you're traveling through Frankfurt. So all the buses look the same. The standards are set. The different operators, the different companies, they have to provide the same layout of the buses, same logos, so the customer will see it as one system of the city of Frankfurt. And so at the same time, so the tendering of those bus lines also guarantees that there's a service quality. So they define quite a lot of standards of service quality here to ensure that people have air condition, that people have a good system, that their buses come in time, they come with a regular schedule, the bus drivers are educated, so they don't speed, and all the different things that could happen. So you really see here's a system managing these contracts is between the municipal authority, the operator, and the passenger. So the passenger is, of course, voting in the city elections to the municipal authority, and public transport is a very conflictual topic here. There are subsidies between the municipal authority and the operator, and then is, of course, the ticketing between the passenger and the operator. But in the end, so you have to understand that the system is subsidized. And if the operators don't meet the service quality, there's a bonus and malus system. So if you don't meet it, you have to pay, you don't get the full subsidy. And if you succeed the service quality, you can even get a bonus here. So this tries to encourage the operators, the government tries to encourage the operators to have a very high service quality. Even environmental standards are defined here in that system, and that's quite important. So all this is regulated in so-called transportation contracts. So between the operator and the municipal authority, there's a contract made, and in the contract, all these standards are defined for the next 8 years. And after 8 years, different operators can gain the service and then operate on those lines. So these service contracts are quite important from my point of view for the success of public transport in Germany, and to increase the popularity of the services in Germany. So you see also here, it's quite important for the funding. So there's a mistake here. So these bits here are all subsidies, different sources of subsidies here. And so those 20% are about the ticket revenues. So 30% ticket revenues, 60% subsidies from different types of sources for public transport. And this really also allows the government to regulate the services. So let me come to my summary and at the end. So I think the lessons learned from Germany for success are that there's a clear split of roles and responsibilities between the management authority planning the quality and the standard, controlled by the policy level, and then implemented by the operators. We have an advanced system of national, provincial, and municipal funding. So the national government is providing money to the states to enable them to subsidize public transport, but provinces and municipalities, they have to contribute with their own resources to the system as well. We have an obligation in Germany from the general law to develop public transport in all municipal cities, and we have an obligation to do integrated transport plans. So the public transport system is integrated with walking and cycling, parking policies, and others. So then we have the regional coordination. We do not only focus on planning in cities, but we plan public transport in the metropolitan region beyond the city border, and cities coordinate among each other who are working in one metropolitan region. And last but not least, the service quality is now defined in service contracts between operators and municipal authorities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and give a virtual applause to Mr. Daniel Bongard. Thank you for your presentation and insight, Mr. Daniel. Mr. Daniel Bongard has explained to us about the condition of public transport, even dating back to the end of World War II, and also until today's situation as how the pandemic affected the public transport. We did show how the regulation of public transport is very complicated, but nonetheless, we can learn so much. Thank you once again, Mr. Daniel Bongard. Okay, our next expert is from South Korea. He is the advisor of Foreign City in Seoul Metropolitan Government. Has a long successful career in transportation since 1981 and has been involved in transportation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Seung Ho Jo.
This is Seung Ho Jo. Hello, this is Seung Ho Jo from Seoul, Korea.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Seung Ho Jo. You may start the presentation.
It's okay. I'm honored to give lectures to Indonesian public officials.
Mr. Seung Ho Jo, limited 20 minutes for you, and we'll remind you at your last 5 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I will guide you through the order my lectures. First, I will briefly introduce public transport in Korea and explain how the public transport license system in Korea is operating and how to monitor and manage it. As shown in the map at the bottom right, the population of the metropolitan area, including Seoul, Incheon, and Gyeonggi-do, account for half of the population of Korea, and the concentration is getting deeper. And the 70.9% of total population of Republic of Korea resides in large cities where the city bus semi-public system is implemented. A large population resides in the metropolitan area, including Seoul and near large cities that have a semi-public bus system. They commute daily to large cities. This is a central bus only lane. Only bus can be used in this lane, and no vehicle can enter this lane except for buses, fire truck, and ambulance. In the end, it has the advantage of increasing the speed of the bus and convenient passenger. By connecting 12 central bus lanes in Seoul with base cities in the metropolitan area, the central bus lane system is expanded. It is to increase the convenience of residents who commute from the metropolitan area to work in Seoul. Seoul and metropolitan area are divided into 7 areas, and bus numbers are assigned so that user can easily understand route bus numbers. Red bus is a bus that enters Seoul by using the central bus lane from the metropolitan area, where 9 is the metropolitan area, 1 in the float digit is the departure area, 1 in the back digit is the arrival area, and the last number 2 is a serial number. Blue bus is an arterial bus that uses the central bus lane in Seoul, and it is the number 2 bus that runs from the second area to Seoul to the 0 area. Green bus is a branch line. It is bus number 12 that runs from District 1 to District 2 of Seoul. M bus is a multi-regional express bus. Unlike general metropolitan buses, it has fewer stops and is a seat bus that is prohibited from standing. It is a route for passenger commuting from the metropolitan area to Seoul. The first 4 is the departure area, the last 4 is the arrival area, and the last number 01 is the serial number. The transportation card system can be used anywhere in urban traffic information and provides it in real time. TOPIS collects accident and traffic volume information and meteorological information by connecting traffic volume and traffic speed of urban expressway and arterial road traffic broadcasting, the National Police Agency, and the meteorological agency. In addition, we comprehensively analyze, process bus operation information and public transportation passenger information to exchange and integrate information in real time to operate scientifically. I will introduce how the Korean public transport license system operates. The type of public transportation license system, according to Korean legal standard, divided into route passenger vehicle transportation, business and regional passenger vehicle transportation business. City buses that operate on fixed route are mainly operated in large cities, and rural buses are operated mainly in small cities and are divided into wide area express bus, blue bus, and green bus. Also, it is divided into a town bus that connect to the nearest laneway station and bus stop, and an intercity bus that runs long distance. Non-route bus are divided into chartered buses that operate nationwide as business zones, and special vehicles that transport persons participating in funerals and bodies. In addition, it is divided into general taxi operated by a certain business area, a private taxi operated by a business operator. Conditions for obtaining a public transport license include 40 or more city-based and rural bus 30, general taxi over 30 to 50 cars depending on the region. The garage must be by oneself were rented for at least 2 years, and the standard of the one garage is set according to the vehicle size. Transportation facilities require an office equipment with communication facilities and include bus stop, vehicle maintenance, and car washing, driver's restroom, and educational facilities. The transportation business license is divided into a general license without a period limit and a limit license with a period of 3 to 5 years. In the issuing procedure, the government first publishes a recruitment announcement, checks the business plan, and sub-serious facilities submitted by the business operator deliberates on the conditions of transportation demand and transport capacity and issues and monitors the appropriate business license. Let's look at the process of issuing a fixed route service license in detail. First, the government deliberates whether the business plan of the business operator and the transport capacity of the business route is suitable, and whether it meets the condition for issuing a license and legal standard and grants a transport license. Route license providers select vehicle to be operated according to route demand and apply for vehicle allocation by route to the government. The government deliberated the application of a route license business operator, determines its suitability and grant a license to the business operator. I will explain the monitoring and management of public transport license. Seoul TOPIS collect and monitor the location and operation information of all city bus in real time through satellite. In addition, TOPIS provides the location and operation information of all city buses to citizens in real time through the bus stop terminal, mobile, and internet. In addition, the collected information is provided to the bus company, and it is used for bus operation database, construction, and operation management. When passenger tag the transportation card, when getting on or off the terminal installed at the bus or subway gate, the fare is automatically charged by calculating the ride information, getting off information, and travel distance. The government is collecting all the information about the vehicle that operated when passengers tag their transportation card on their terminals. As transportation cards are widely used, vast amount of transportation card data are being accumulated. Transportation card data accumulated over a long period of time can be used as big data with very high utility. transportation card data is used for transportation system monitoring and implement review, policy review, and various academic research activities. Seoul Exchange administers live document and data between Seoul and business operator using eBusNet. In addition, bus operator related data is stored on a separate server and big data is used. Seoul evaluation of a public transportation license is to endorse safety operation of a public transportation, improve management activities, and provide high quality service to citizens. When an agreement is reached through discussion of evaluation indicator between bus operators, the City of Seoul deliberated and finalized a single proposal. In case of non-agreement, a separate proposal and the bus policy civic community. Seoul announces the finalized evaluation index and evaluation manual is delivered to bus companies through eBusNet. The bus company evaluation is conducted annually on 356 routes of 65 bus companies. Seoul announces the evaluation result and notifies the bus company via eBusNet. Companies that do not comply with the evaluation result will be finalized through the committed deliberation if they submit the evidence after filing an objection. The Seoul reward operator with excellent management and service evaluation result and issues excellent company certificates. In addition, priority is given to financial support such as payment of performance and profit. Each year, the Seoul.
Yes, sir, you have 5 minutes left. Thank you.
Each year, the Seoul conducts service satisfaction survey for each route of 65 bus companies. Analyzes for the survey result, prototypes and notifies the bus companies individually. It informs the service level of the bus company by comparing the rise in satisfaction level compared to the previous years and the sole advantage by company, and suggest measures to improve service satisfaction. Thank you for listening my lectures for a long time. I finished my lectures.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Seung Ho Jo, for your presentation. Please give a virtual applause to Mr. Seung Ho Jo. I think what we can learn from Mr. Seung Ho Jo's presentation is how the Korean public transport is nicely integrated. Also to be noted is the data collection by the government that certainly be used for improving the overall service of public transport. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Seung Ho Jo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this webinar is getting more interesting as we are about to present our third international speakers and expert. He is a professor in Taiwan National University, has a long career, both professional and academic, has been involved in several research and development about transportation. Dr. Jason Chang, please welcome. We have 20 minutes for your esteemed presentation, and I will remind you in the last 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. It's really my honor to share with you what we have in terms of the bus route licensing scheme in Taiwan. As you know, we initiated this licensing scheme since 28 years ago. You know, we have a bus company running the various bus route more than 80 years old, even reaching 100 years. Those companies basically in the very beginning, they got the right of way to run the bus route for 50, 60 years. And those right of way, you know, was ended in early 1990. So the Ministry of Transport and Communications developed so-called the bus route licensing scheme. So I'm going to share with you under what kind of governance framework this new, comparatively new, it's already almost 30 years, how it works, and what the key success for this licensing scheme. You can see here we have many buses in the depot, and we have so-called the world-class freeway bus services, and lots of our delegates from Indonesia have been enjoying this world-class service for the intercity freeway bus. And now I will summarize my talk and also give you some idea what will happen in the coming years, particularly face the digital transformation. And Taiwan is a small island, 36,000 square kilometers. We have 23 million population.
Sorry, Mr. Jason, are you going to share your presentation on the screen?
It's not shown?
It's not showing yet.
Oh. Can you see that?
Not yet.
How about this? Can you see this?
Still not showing, sir. Sorry. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We have lots of motorcycles, almost 14 million, and about 8.1 million cars. So you can see the mixed traffic situation. And about 12 years ago, we finished the high-speed rail from Taipei to Kaohsiung. The reason I mentioned this because this really gave a big impact on those freeway bus system. And we have the 1,000 kilometer freeway network in which the electronic toll collection system being finished. In terms of bus transit, you can see here we have freeway bus, regional bus, city bus. And the total trip for all public transportation system carrying about 5.6 million trips per day. For the bus transit is contribute about 57.6%, which is 3.2 million. And these two regional bus systems, which I'm going to share with you in terms of the licensing scheme. Let me give you some statistics. Currently, we have 29 companies to run the regional bus. You can see the total route for 429, 1,500 vehicles, and every year, 27 million trips. For the freeway bus system, there are 32 companies running 167 routes with 3.47 thousand buses and 47 million trips. Okay. And as I mentioned, 12 years ago, we have the high-speed rail that give the impact on the freeway bus as well as the conventional rail. But you can see that for the trip more than 150 kilometers or under the 15 kilometers, the freeway bus almost similar market share. However, the high-speed rail do have the impact on the long-term trip on conventional rail. By the way, in addition to the regional bus and the freeway bus system, we do have the city bus services. There are about 12,000 buses carrying daily trip is about 4 million trip per day. Basically, Ministry of Transport and Communications in charge of the public transportation system. And for the regional and freeway bus system, there are two major bureaus. One is we call National Freeway Bureau, and this one is mainly in charge planning, design, and construction for the national freeway, of course, including OAM and traffic control, and also the dynamic information system. And all the licensing scheme for bus route under the authority of Directorate General of Highways. So this bureau is not only for the construction of national highways, but also has the function for NVA, route licensing. And there's another institute mainly for the vehicle safety certificates. Okay. So as I mentioned, all freeway bus route together, most of regional bus route are under the authority of Ministry of Transportation and Communications, particularly this National Highways Bureau. And we have some regional bus, and of course, all the city bus under the major city governments. There are Department of Transportation and also the Public Transport Authority in charge those bus route licensing scheme. But all the licensing scheme has the similar approach. I'm going to share with you in next few slides. I would like to also mention about our so-called National Bus Transit Enhancement Program. Each year we have about 1.2 to 1.5 billion US dollar, which mainly support non-rail public transportation system, of course, including freeway bus, regional bus, and the city bus. They basically provide funding for all the information system, all the e-payment system, some part of free management, and they provide funding for the intermodal station, and they provide about 49% of the procurement subsidy for all local bus. And we had about 130 bus routes in the rural area, and many supported financially by this fund. And as you know, face the digital transformation, ADAS application, and also the electrical bus, also, being financially supported in this national program. For example, one of the intermodal station in Taipei City, supported by both a joint effort between Taipei City government and the central government. So basically, it's a PPP project. I got another people, public-private partnership and people. Basically, it's a transit-oriented, this should be development project. So with the intercity bus, regional bus, and city bus, all together with metro, taxi, bicycle, public bike, and the parking garage for the general traffic. And this is a special design for the licensing scheme. We have a so-called Committee of Bus Route Licensing and Assessment. I call it a 4-in-1 committee, because this committee has 4 functions. In addition to route licensing, no matter it's a new application or for the existing bus route, all in this committee assessment. Second is to conduct the performance evaluation for the safety and service quality of the bus route, each bus route and the bus company. Third is to evaluate the subsidy provided for those bus operation in the rural area. Last but not least is to decide the fare and the pricing for the bus transit system. This is a very unique, I think it's a very good arrangement for the committee member of this committee. Basically, we have 2 co-chairs, one from professor, from academic, invited by the authority. And the second co-chair is the Director General of the authority. So normally they co-moderate the committee meeting every 2 months. And there are 17 to 23 members. They are from professors, 5 from the government officer, from the ministry, 5 from the major local city government, particularly for those freeway bus route and the regional bus route going through those major city government. And we have one member recommended by our National Consumer Foundation. This is the NGO, but has a very good reputation on the consumer issues. And one from the Association of Bus Operator. Yeah. So they normally recommend the Secretary General as the member in this committee. Each committee has 2 years in duty. However, they can have another term for serving in this committee. Okay, in terms of the right-of-way for the bus route, basically 5-year concession, similar to the system in Korea. And every 5 years, there's an assessment. You know, we normally based on what we call service quality and safety evaluation. Okay, and these performance evaluation normally conducted by Institute of Transportation, which is the academic society.
You have 5 minutes left. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And the result for the evaluation, A+, A, B, C, D. So you see the guideline. If the company or the route obtain A+ and A, this route will obtain automatically another 5 years for operation. If the ranking is B and C, they have submit the improvement to the committee, and they will be evaluated and give another 3 to 5 years concession. Depends on the evaluation result. If you got the D, and normally they will suspend it and give you 3 months for improving. And if you really improve and pass by the assessment committee, then you will have another 2 or 3 years. Depends on the reassessment result. Or you need to surrender your right-of-way to other operator with the excellent performance. This is basically the game that we have in this evaluation. Basically, the contents of evaluation, including station and depot, vehicle and safety, operation management, service quality, and the universal design, for the barrier-free accessibility. And the assessment principle, will be discussed every 2 or 3 years, by stakeholders, to make sure it's updated and it's neutral. And every 3 to 6 months, we will have this performance evaluation. So that will, for the route relicensing subsidy priority decision and for the new route and existing route. And you can see here, for renew the license or the new route, basically we have a similar scheme. But for the new route, it can be proposed by the private operator from their viewpoint, or they can provide it by the authority. Either way, the call for proposal will be announced. And there's a preliminary evaluation committee to do the proposal. And application and proposal will be submitted by those candidates with the performance record, operational plan, depot, free size, and so on. And then this committee will conduct assessment and make decision based on their proposal. And you can see here, we have our application guideline for the new bus line. So those applicants basically can have a very good guideline to follow. Let me summarize my talk. First of all, after the 25 years running the scheme, and we find out our service enhanced, the safety enhanced, and the labor salary also improved. So I would say this is very good for the national and regional bus service, of course, including the city bus services. It is suggested we need to have guidelines, to guide those operators for the new line, new route applications. And not just the committee. I think it's very important to have the National Bus Transit Enhancement Program. With the program, we have funding as kind of bullet and resources, to encourage the operator and the local government to enhance their public transport, particularly the bus transit operation efficiency and then service quality. That's why we believe there are lots of external benefits. So those internal intermodal station and all the information platform should be established by the public sector, to reduce the cost for operation of the bus transit system. And in the future, we are thinking about the role of bus transit in the mobility services. And we now start the on-demand services, particularly the demand responsive transit service in a rural area. Now it's more than 43 county initiated the service since 2 years ago. Last but not least, facing the digital transformation, we believe this is necessary to have a legal settlement to include the innovative service and advanced technology for the future bus transit operation. This concludes my presentation. I wish all the safe, particularly during the COVID-19. Taiwan did a very good job, and I hope Dr. Ellie, you also enjoy the mask I sent you, and I hope our experience can contribute Indonesia in terms of bus transit operation and also other countries. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give a virtual applause to Dr. Jason Chang for your presentation. I think we Indonesians can learn a thing or two from our ally, Taiwan. We do have some similarity, for example, the high number of motorcycles on the streets, yes. Sir. And again, information technology plays an important part in improving the public transportation. Thank you, Dr. Jason Chang. Now we have come to our fourth speakers and expert who will further enrich our knowledge about transportation. Our next speaker is the director of HRL Consultancy Netherlands, Mr. Leo Haring. Mr. Haring has more than 45 years of experience in public transport, involved in several light rail transportation projects, and then also has been a member of the Dutch Safety Board, and even though he is still active in some light rail projects in other countries. Mr. Haring, with all due respect, we have 20 minutes for your presentation, and I will remind you about 5 minutes before it's up.
Sorry. Oh, it's okay.
It's okay. Now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, sorry, some small problems with the equipment. Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity to give a presentation about public transport in the Netherlands, in particular how concessions are granted by our authorities. My first experience with public transport was in Indonesia. That was in Jakarta when I was a small boy standing in front of the Sriwijaya Hotel, and the tram was still there at the train. So that influenced my career. Yes, I would like to inform you about the I try to. I share. Yeah. Okay, there it is. With this presentation, I would like to inform you about the structure of public transport in the Netherlands, including the establishment and organization of networks of the different public transport modes that can be distinguished in all parts of our country. We have the railway operation, we have local and regional public transport, and that's conducted by the transport authorities in the regions and provinces. I will say a few words about the public transport concessions and the concessions areas we have in the Netherlands. The operators, the main operators providing services in our country, and a few words about how it's being financed. It's very important to realize that the Netherlands is a member of the European Union. This means that the selection of public transport operators is carried out according to the EU public procurement procedure. This describes the process by which public bodies, the transport authorities, purchase services from private companies or companies linked to not very private situations like other railway operators in Germany and other countries. The EU law on procurement requires the transport authorities to open up higher value contract opportunities to bids across the EU. It also requires them to run up a fair and transparent competition. The rules apply to tenders above a certain monetary value. For lower value tenders, national rules apply, although these two have to respect the general principles of the EU law. And that means that in certain situations, it's possible to apply direct agreements with operators. This is a picture of our country. It's a small country, only 17.5 million inhabitants. That is very compared to the other countries that provide the presentations like Germany and Korea. But it's fairly dense. We have 520 inhabitants per square kilometers. You see on the pictures in the west, the main cities, Amsterdam, the capital, and The Hague, the center of government, and the harbor of Rotterdam. Another large city is Utrecht. Large, that means in our country, inhabitants between 500,000 and 1 million. The main public transport in the Netherlands for longer distances is by train. Long distance buses are limited to areas where no railways are available. For passenger transportation, the main lines of Dutch railway core network are being operated by NS, the Nederlandse Spoorwegen. The regional railway lines are currently being operated by mainly German and French international transport companies selected by a concession procedure. Regional and local transport by bus and regional railways is also carried out by national and or international companies and tendered by local authorities according to EU public procurement process. In the cities of Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and The Hague, the metro, tram, and bus operation is done by their own municipal transport companies. The Ministry of Infrastructure, Water Management is responsible for laws and rules and policy on the use of the railways. The ministry also grants main railway network and for railway management. The ministry also finances the construction and most of the maintenance of the network. The railway operation in our country comprises passenger operation on main lines, including high-speed line. National operations are carried out by Dutch Railways NS. Then we have the passenger transport on regional lines and concessions for operations on these lines. Different transport companies selected by regional transport authority. Last but not least, the freight transport. The railway network is open for companies with a safety certificate issued by the inspector of our ministry. The Dutch railway network is a dense network and connects nearly all major towns and cities. The network totals about 3.2 thousand kilometers double track and includes a high-speed line to Belgium and France. There's also a dedicated freight railway line connecting Rotterdam and Germany. 3/4 of the lines have been electrified with the main line or core network. The most regional lines are not electrified but operated with diesel trains. Of course, this network needs to be developed and maintained. And on behalf of the Ministry of Infrastructure and Water Management, the task organization ProRail is now responsible for construction, managing and maintaining the railway infrastructure, including tunnels, level crossings, power supply, and signaling. They are also responsible for managing and maintaining railway facilities such as stations. ProRail allocates the network capacity. And of course, they are responsible for the traffic control and coordination of disaster response. ProRail carries out these tasks on the basis of a management concession, and it's running until 2025. The construction and maintenance activities are outsourced by ProRail to selected approved contractors. ProRail is a private limited liability company. The Dutch government is the sole shareholder and the Ministry of Finance performs the shareholder functions. As I showed, the NS, the Dutch Railways, is the largest railway company in the Netherlands and currently responsible for the operation of transport passengers services on the main railway network until 2025. This right also comes with obligations for NS, such as the level of service provided to stations in the network, the accessibility and assistance for disabled passengers, bicycle parking, and so on and so on. Every year, NS produces a transport plan, including performance agreements on major issues such as punctuality, information provision, and preventing overcrowding. NS is also involved in developing and managing stations and their surroundings. For example, in the framework of transit-oriented development. NS pays ProRail track access charges for the use of the rail network. Also, NS is a public limited company with the Dutch government as the sole shareholder. The Minister of Finances performs the shareholder functions. Now I would like to say something about the local and regional public transport. European concession directives are implemented in the Netherlands, and that means that 3 directives are now transported into the revised version of the Dutch Public Procurement Act. Pursuant to this act, local and regional transport authorities are obliged to start a public procurement procedure for public transport on the basis of a concession. This procedure should lead to actual competition. The Act contains also requirements that must be observed when granting concessions, for example, performance, safety, and so on. The transport authorities in our country of 11 provinces and 2 regions are obliged to observe these requirements when opening up a tendering procedure for urban and regional bus transport, and in some concessions also regional rail transport by train, metro, light rail, and tram. The authorities also monitor, of course, the performance of the services provided by the operator after they started their services when they won the concession. This picture shows the country with the areas and the transport authorities. As I said, 11 provinces and 2 regional authorities in Amsterdam, because Amsterdam is the bigger city, larger surroundings, and also in the metropolitan region, Rotterdam, The Hague. In our country, we have many concession areas, more than 70 different concessions. These concessions are granted for bus, tram, light rail, and metro networks or single lines and some other services, such as ferries. These concessions, is a concession? That is, concessions comprise the service in a region on different networks or sometimes also single lines. The bus, we have buses in our country. Regional and city buses services can be found throughout the country. Because of the extensive rail network, long distance services are limited to some connections where train connections are missing or would require a considerable detour. All bus operators, except for GVB Amsterdam, RET Rotterdam, and HTMA The Hague, are awarded by a transport authority to companies by a public tender. Concessions can last up to 10 years with extensions if the transport authority is satisfied after monitoring the services, of course. One important requirement issued by the Minister of Infrastructure and Water Management is that from 2025, all new buses need to be zero emissions. So climate is very important. Trams and light rail, we have 3 cities in our country operating large urban tram networks. They also have a regional function because the cities are expanding and the surroundings areas are growing and more inhabitants, more residential areas. The lines are extended to the surroundings as well. In Amsterdam, we have 85 kilometers of network operated by GVB. In Rotterdam, we have 75 kilometers of network operated by RET. In The Hague, combined tram light rail network of about 128 kilometers. Now, most urban lines, tram urban lines have light rail characteristics. Light rail is hype today, and that means that we have many segregated tracks for more reliable and quick service, partly also signaling power supply 675 volt. 2 light rail networks were established for regional connections, especially for regional connections, and that is the Regio-Tram in Utrecht. That is a 28.7 kilometer network owned by the province of Utrecht and serving the area around the city. And we have Randstad Rail, HTM tram lines, and RET metro line combined, serving the area around The Hague, Rotterdam, and Zoetermeer. That's the city east of there. These lines, these metro and tram lines, are also integrated technical also. And technically, that means that they are running on certain sections on the same track. The metro can be found in Amsterdam and Rotterdam. Also, the metro provides urban but also regional connection. Amsterdam has a 52.2 kilometer network operated by GVB, and Rotterdam metro network is 103 kilometer operated by the transport company RET. And that includes also the RET line to The Hague as a branch of the Randstad network. I'll explain that later. Both systems are largely grade separated with tunnels and viaducts. Also 1435 millimeter track, that is the railway gauge, but also the tram and the light rail gauge in the Netherlands. And sections at grade of the metro networks have light rail characteristics. That means that they are running on the grade and have overhead power supply. So that's a few words about our system. The national tender requirements are presented here. The provincial and regional authorities must include a requirement scheme in the invitation to tenders announcement. It should define a function of the public transport service and performance, the alignment with other public transport services in adjacent areas. That means, for example, to match the timetables. The accessibility of infrastructure and rolling stock, the comfort and safety, environmental objectives, travel information, infrastructure facilities to be constructed, and fares. The OV chip card is our national ticket for public transport. We use the same some sort of credit card. But there is no fixed national kilometer fare. The price of travel may differ between regions.
Excuse me, sir, you have 5 minutes left. Thank you.
The authorities are obliged to obtain advice from consumer organizations about the rules to be connected. Insourcing is an issue. In Amsterdam and Rotterdam, there are metro, tram, and bus networks. The same applies to The Hague. Unlike public bus and regional railway transport in the rest of the country, these systems are allowed by the government to grant concessions by insourcing. That means that there is no competition regarding the tram, metro, and light rail. So, the operators here in our country, we have but in the provinces and regions outside the city of Rotterdam, The Hague, and Amsterdam, the majority of services are provided by foreign international companies like Transdev, Bus Italia, owned by the Italian Railways, Keolis, Synthesis, owned by Keolis, and that is mean the French Railways, and also Arriva, owned by the Deutsche Bahn, and EBS, owned by Israeli Aggett. So these 5 are the main operators in our country selected after the tenders. The metropolitan region, The Hague, Rotterdam, is an example of a transport authority. 2.2 million inhabitants for living in 23 municipalities, service 1,250 kilometers. We distinguish 2 different types of concessions. We have rail concessions and we have bus concessions. The rail concessions are granted to RET and in Haaglanden to HTM for a period up to 2030-2031. The bus concessions are 2 concessions for the city transportation by bus to HTM and RET by insourcing, but for some regional lines, it's EBS, is an Israeli public transportation company. The Randstad Rail network, that is partly the connection Rotterdam-The Hague operated by RET, The Hague Zoetermeer operated by HTM. They have a shared track here. The tram and the metro are running at the same track. But the philosophy in the past was the lines were heavy railway lines, but were converted to light rail to provide more direct connections between the region and the city. So in the past, NS was running here, NS was running there, but now it's completely the task of the regional the city companies. Some words about financing. The financial responsibility for urban and regional public transport and traffic policy is transferred to local governments and authorities. So not the central government, but the local and regional governments. An annual broad goal-oriented grant is provided by the government, national government, to provinces and regional authorities for implementations of the central integral traffic and transport policy of the government. But the local companies, the transport authorities, they are responsible for how this money is used. Because it combines all different transportation issues, such as bridges, roads, but also public transportation. Because public transportation is a major cost to necessary subsidies, that is the fact. The BDU, this grant, includes subsidies for cost of operation because the fare revenues of the operators are too low to cover these costs for 100%. The cost coverage is different for local and regional public transportation. In the West, where there are many passengers, there we have something about 80% cost coverage, and the rest, the 20, is paid by the transport authority. The large projects are financed by the central government via MIRT. That's the National Multi-Year Infrastructure, Spatial Planning and Transport Program. That is my last picture. Not too many nice words, but we think that we have a very transparent procedure, including clear important requirements and opportunities for potential operators. Authorities can mainly quality by monitoring evaluation of the operators' performances and results against the requirements. And what is also special, that our main cities, Hague, Rotterdam and Amsterdam, that they still have received concessions based on their experience without competition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo Haring from Netherlands. Please give a virtual applause to Mr. Leo. Thank you very much for your presentation. I hope that your cup is not too full just yet after delightful insight from our international speakers and experts, because now is the time for our panel discussion. With more experts in transportation, we have two Indonesia experts as panelists today. They will give us even more insight from an expert point of view. First, we have Dr. Hananto. He's the Indonesia Transport Attaché in Washington, D.C., received his doctorate at the University of Paris, has been involved in transportation research and project overseas. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Hananto.
Not too many details.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me take this time to introduce myself. I am Hananto, as the Transportation Attaché at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Washington, D.C. As the theme of this webinar is benchmarking on passenger vehicle public transit licensing scheme in other countries, in this good opportunity, my title of presentation will be the effect of the regulation on the intercity bus industry in United States, where one of the aspects is about the simplification of regulation to ease the attractivity of the intercity bus service. I think that some aspect of the intercity bus regulation in United States could be took into account as an input to prepare a derivative regulation from job creation law or Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja, which was already signed by our President, Bapak Joko Widodo. I hope this presentation can give a new insight for regulator, operator, and other stakeholders to improve the bus industry market in Indonesia. My presentation outline is as follows. I will start my presentation with the structure of a public transit regulator in the United States. It is very important to understand this structure as there is a different responsibility between federal and state government in managing public transit system in the United States. And it also affects the licensing scheme. Then I'm gonna continue with the Bus Regulatory Reform Act, which changed the bus industry market in the United States. This reform is one of the transportation deregulation which was implemented by the federal government of the United States since 40 years ago. I will talk on overview of this deregulation and then aspect and response of deregulation. Before I'm going to talk about the intercity bus deregulation effect, I would like to explain about the structure of public transit regulator in United States. In the level of federal government, Federal Transit Administration is the responsible institution which produces national regulation, guidance, and providing financial and technical assistance to local public transportation system. Then in a state level, the government has its own transit authority. For example, the New York City Transit Authority and Maryland Transit Administration. These state transit administration are independent institutions and they are not under responsibility of Federal Transit Administration. So there is no vertical common between Federal Transit Administration and Transit Authority in each state level. Another example of a state transit authority is a Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority, which is 3 jurisdictional government agency consisting District of Columbia of DC, Maryland, and Virginia State. These 3 jurisdictional government could be considered as an agglomeration, such as Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi in Indonesia. The State Transit Authority has also the task to handle the public transit service in the city level. This is an example of a transit authority in state level government. As I mentioned earlier, Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority is a 3 jurisdictional government agency which has a responsibility to build, develop, and operate transit service, such as Metro Rail, Metro Bus in Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia State. As the government agency, the institution budget came from these 3 states. Regarding the Metro Bus service, I think here there is no issue in terms of the licensing scheme as everything is under government control. There is no private bus operator in Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. Next, I'm gonna talk about this intercity bus deregulation reform in United States. This bus deregulation has been starting since 1982, when the United States of America was led by President Ronald Reagan. This deregulation became the largest regulatory reform since 1935. At the end of 1970 and at the beginning of 1980, USA has started the regulatory reform in transportation sector. Prior to the implementation of the Bus Deregulation Act in 1982, the federal government implemented airline and railroad deregulation at the end of 1970. From the statement of the President Ronald Reagan, it is very clear that the United States intend to provide the ease of doing business in intercity bus industry and to improve the intercity bus market share in this nation. There are several important factors which has caused the bus deregulation reform in United States. These factors are mostly related to the question why there is a decreasing of intercity bus passenger from time to time. This factor as follows. The first one is about the economic growth increase. It affects to the increasing of private car ownership in the middle and upper income level. Finally, it means less dependence on public transit service, including the intercity buses. Second, from time to time, there is no facility or infrastructure improvement in the intercity bus station. It leads to the perception that bus station is not safe and not convenient. And there was a tight competition with airline, notably for short trip. Airline deregulation was signed in 1978, and it has created more and more air carrier fly in US sky with new concept of a low fare with good service. This is very important, low fare with good service. So there is a competitive market with the intercity bus industry. This thing make airline more competitive and attract many more passengers for short trip, which was dominated by the intercity bus service previously. You can see here the most important aspect of the regulation. I think this is very important to be discussed later. The important aspect of the regulation since 1982 in US. In this metric, there is a condition before and after the regulation for intercity bus industry. In short, bus deregulation gives the simplification of bureaucracy and procedure as follows. One, carriers at the right side after the regulation, carriers could freely and add or cut routes on intercity route without interstate commerce commissions or ICC approval. Second, bus operator or carriers could freely lower rates on interstate routes without ICC approval. Number three, no more restriction from picking up or letting off passengers at the intermediate point. So before the bus deregulation, intercity bus route is only point to point, meaning that from a bus terminal to bus terminal. After the regulation, the bus operator, the intercity bus operator, is allowed to carry the passenger outside bus terminal. It is called as intermediate stop or curbside stop. I will talk it later. Number four, it is allow a motor common carrier of passengers to transport special or charter passenger in the same motor vehicle with regular road passenger. So this is about the efficiency of fleet management. This concept, for sure, is very this concept is for sure very useful and interesting for bus operator, as it makes more efficient their spending for bus fleet procurement. For example, one bus could be used for both the regular route and also charter service. This simplification is for sure to make the bus industry market more competitive, more attractive, and carry more passenger in the future after the deregulation established by the federal government. Even though this deregulation is expected to improve the bus market performance, however, at the beginning of the deregulation, the industry response was very limited and was very slow. There is no advancement in terms of technological usage. For example, the reservation system employ the old policy, which first come, first serve approach. So it is totally different to air and rail service, which already implemented the advanced technology in customer reservation system. One of the big changes in the bus deregulation is about the intermediate or curbside stop between bus terminal to bus terminal. However, the state government thought that this intermediate stop tend to disrupt the local traffic network as well as cause the street congestion. So to handle this disruption from curbside stop or intermediate stop, each state level government take its own measures. For example, in New York City, the state government implements a bus stop permit for the bus operator. This is an example of a bus stop permit in New York City. Each operator must apply for a permit from New York City DOT, Department of Transportation, before they can make on-street stop in the city. The important thing that in order to issue this permit, the involvement of a local community board is a must. So this is very important, the involvement of a local community. The local community board will be consulted as a part of the application process. The local community board will be notified of permit application and will have a 45 days consultations period to offer an input. There is no provision for community board to appeal decision. Approved bus stop locations will be published online within 30 days after issuance of the approval. What can we learn from here is that the decision making is not only one-way system from the government, but also there is an involvement of the local community. This is the requirement to apply the bus stop permit in New York City in New York City. In general, information such as the proposed bus stop, schedule of bus service, plan route must be applied to New York City Department of Transportation by the bus operator. Once the intercity bus operator finishes preparing the document, they can submit it to New York City DOT via online submission. The next step is New York City DOT will evaluate the applications and involve the local community. The process of application review is around 150 days. Moreover, there is an administration fee that bus operator must pay to the government to get the bus stop permit. The fee calculation is quite clear, and it is published in New York City DOT website. New York City Police Department has an important role to control and monitor this bus stop permit. If there is a bus operator violate this permit, the police will give the penalty to the violator. Once the bus stop permit approved by New York City Department of Transportation, the file is published and everyone can access the file in New York City DOT website. Here is an example of bus city permit for A&W bus operator, which was issued by the New York City DOT. There is a proposed schedule, there is a proposed location, and etc. This is another example of bus stop permit in Washington, D.C. It is not called a bus stop permit, but public space permit, which has the similarity to bus stop permit in New York City, as I mentioned earlier. The important thing is, as the bus deregulation gets success, the question can be answered from this picture. Those two pictures are from the survey of passenger taken between 2011 to 2012. The impact of curbside stop or intermediate stop is quite positive, if a significant impact, where there is a new 22% trip generated by the availability of curbside stop service. The curbside stop also causes the mode shift from intercity trains to the intercity bus service, where 28% from the total of intercity bus passenger come from the intercity train. This graph shows the trend of intercity bus passenger in United States. In 1960 was the year where the peak of passenger number with around 140 million passenger per year. Then the number was getting lower from time to time, so that the bus deregulation was taken in 1982 to improve the bus industry market in United States. A year after the deregulation, the passenger number was around 40 million. In the period from 2010 to 2015, the trend was quite good, with the percentage of growth around 4% per year. Now I talked about the job creation law. I found that there are several aspects in job creation law which are related to the intercity bus operation. For example, in article number 36, this is about the intercity bus route. And then in article number 38, this is related to the bus terminal. And the last one in the article 173 is about the business permit. In this slide, I try to make some correlations. What I found in job creation law regarding the bus terminal, business permit aspect, and also what I have learned from the bus deregulation in United States. This correlation will take into account the existing situation which happen now in the intercity bus market in Indonesia. I hope this can become a substance to be discussed in this webinar session. The first one is about the fleet efficiency. As one of the goals of this job creation law or Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja is to provide the ease of doing business, I think one aspect that must be reviewed is about the limit of fleet ownership to get the intercity bus permit. Nowadays, as the DG of Land Transportation mentioned earlier, to get the intercity bus permit, an operator must own at least 5 vehicles. So the question is whether this requirement is still appropriate with the ease of doing business concept, which is the important point in the important thing in job creation law. And then, is there any opportunity to loosen, to lift the criteria, for example, less than 5 vehicles, or the vehicle could be from the leasing system. So the first, the previous, the existing situation is in the left side, and the after, the proposed thing for discussion in the right side. I think if we can ease the criteria to get the business permit, the market will respond positively as well. Another fleet efficiency approach which can be discussed is about the ease to use the same vehicle to serve fixed route and charter service. I think this is the way to maximize asset and to gain more profit. Before it is needed one vehicle to serve for each fixed route and charter service. I thought next, maybe there is a possibility to use only one vehicle to serve fixed route and charter service, meaning that when the vehicle is not used to serve fixed route, it will be utilized by the operator to serve the charter service. There is still big question to be answered: how to increase the intercity bus passenger number related to the job creation law or Undang-Undang Cipta Kerja. In Indonesia, we are already aware with the current situation where the Sedo terminal, appears in many locations, or terminal bayangan. The Sedo terminal is a location where bus passenger with the bus out of terminal. So the passengers doesn't want to go to terminal due to many reasons. For example, the bus terminal location is not accessible, or it is not convenient anymore to the bus passenger coming to the bus terminal. This situation is very similar to what happened in USA 40 years ago, before the deregulation established, where the intercity bus terminal was not reliable anymore. What we are doing now in Indonesia to overcome this terminal bayangan or Sedo terminal is only related to the law enforcement due by the officers. I think this solution is still okay, but it needs a lot of energy, resources, and it cannot be implemented day to day. Next, maybe we need to think about the legalization of Sedo bus terminal. So the Sedo terminal could be in, for example, the location in Lebe, or the location could be in mall lobby or hotel lobby near the existing of the Sedo terminal. So in the future, the intercity bus route is not only point-to-point service like in the left pictures, but also there is a possibility to put the intermediate stop outside the intercity bus terminal, like in the right picture. Another thing that needs hard work is about the data collection method, notably in urban area. I think this is related to the presentation of our colleagues from South Korea, Taiwan, and another country. This data collection is quite important since we need this data to identify the demands, the potential market of public transportation. So to evaluate and monitor the performance of all public transportation service. This data collection source could be the integration from state-owned bus operator, private bus operator, commuter rail operator, and also, this is the important thing, ride-sharing company. This is the era of collaboration, so we cannot make a difference between the public transportation company or other company of the government. So all the data sent to transit data center, for example, in the Jakarta Transit Authority. So next, the data center do the data processing and analysis to provide evidence-based decision in, for example, route planning, schedule, and also fare integration. For example, ride-sharing company or on-demand company, they have a big data on trip number and also its characteristics, so it could become an important input to create a new public transportation route and propose to the government, even in provincial or in central government. I think this is all my presentation. I return back to the time to Mbak Bunga. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hananto. ATASA Transportation in Washington, D.C. And before we proceed, I want to say hello to our participants, whether in Zoom and watching in YouTube or Instagram. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you will stay until the end of our webinar. Okay, now it's time to other expert to discuss about what we have been delivered by our expert from overseas. This is a great moment to learn and to see the underlying causes and the possible implementation in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Eli Sinaga. He's an expert in transportation in Indonesia, currently the president of Indonesia Road Safety Partnership. She has a long career, both professional and academic. Mrs. Eli Sinaga, silakan Ibu Eli Sinaga.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon.
Shalom.
Waalaikumsalam.
And hello all of my dear friends, the speaker, Mr. Daniel, Mr. Joe, Professor Jason, Mr. Leo, and also Pak Hananto, far away in Washington, and all of our audience in Indonesia and also from some other countries. Yes, we learn a lot from all of you, our speaker, especially regarding public transport licensing scheme in your country. It is very important to us after such a long time, since only a little change that we can create to improve our public transport here in Indonesia, which licensing, it is one of our obstacles to reach a good service quality. I'd like to take some useful and important things, what we have learned all along this afternoon, and give some ideas, what should we do to jump up what we have left behind, especially to make public transport industry more interesting. Okay, I would like to set the screen now, excuse me. Okay, Mbak Bunga, is it okay for my presentations?
Okay, Ibu, sudah terlihat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we've just discussed all along this afternoon that passenger road public transport services, it is divided into fixed route and unfixed route. Fixed route means like intercity transport, urban transport. And the unfixed route, it's such like a taxi, tourism, transport, etc. Now, regarding the operator license in Indonesia, if we compare to other countries that we've just learned, from Korea, from Taiwan, Netherlands, and Germany, if you are looking on the left side, this was presented by the DG of Transport in Indonesia, that the main requirements for the operator license, at least the company owns at least 5 vehicles. Mr. Hananto just mentioned, why is it 5? Can be less or can be just lease. Second one, the company has a garage, to store all the vehicles. So if we can have a look on the right side, from Mr. Joe, it mentioned that, yes, the operator should own the garage, but it could also be leased. So it is not definitely the operator having the garage, but they guarantee they can park all the buses. They can lease it, the garage. And then the company has a maintenance facility. So these are 3 requirements from Indonesia's side. But if we have a look to some other countries that we've just learned, for instance, in Germany, because we are in these countries, they are doing tender, for giving license to the operators. Yes, some requirements, for instance, in Germany, they are looking for the financial capability, the technical qualifications of transport manager. It is really interesting. Yeah, we don't think about this before. And in Netherlands, infrastructural facilities to be constructed. And in Taiwan, what is the stations and depot? Vehicle and safety. Yeah, safety, it is really important. Operation management and service quality. Yeah, so we learn a lot. We are enriched with some requirements that the operators should have. Probably we could also ease the requirements like Mr. Hananto just proposed. We have to discuss about this. The fourth one from Indonesia, the company which fulfill the requirements, it will be valid for 5 years. But if we have looked to other countries, in Netherlands, concession can last up to 10 years and even can be extended if the authority is satisfied. Yeah, so there is a monitoring evaluations for these operators. Even in Korea, from Mr. Joe, there is no limited year. Yeah, but they have also very tight performance assessment. And from Taiwan, 5-year concessions can be extended. Yeah, actually it is 5 years, but can be extended based on performance evaluations, which was conducted every, if I'm not mistaken, 3 up to 6 months. Now, if we are looking to Indonesia again, because we are needed all of your sharing on this licensing in your countries, yeah, we really would like to renew or upgrade our license scheme. So in Indonesia, after the operators taking the license, and all of the buses under these operators, yeah, it has also to be licensed. Yeah, it mentions in Director General presentations, yeah, they should do have so-called monitoring card. Yeah, to have monitoring card means that each buses owned by the operator, yeah, has to get the license. And you can have a look on the left side at the box, given to each vehicles owned by the company, valid for 1 year. So the license given to every single buses and valid for 1 year. So every one year they have to renew it. And it has to be in fixed routes. There's a pointed route, yeah, written in the monitoring card. And one bus only allowed to serve one route. Yeah. So one bus, they can just operate in one route. Yeah, they cannot use to any other route. Yeah, and the license valid for 1 year. So I think this is the one that probably we should discuss a lot with our government here, also with the university and any stakeholders. Do we still need bus licensing, yeah, to get this monitoring card? Or, like Pak Hananto just mentions, even fixed route buses, yeah, probably can be used for unfixed route or charter during off-peak for bus hire utility. You know, so it means that, according to the pictures, the diagram Mr. Hananto just presented, yeah, 2 buses can be replaced only to 1 bus. And license gives to an operator to serve a certain area in Netherlands. Yeah, so it is in area. Yeah, so it is only 1 route. And even also very interesting from Mr. Daniel, they are doing the bundling bus lines. Yeah, so it around 3 to 12 bus lines, they're bundling it. So the operator can serve this bundling area, bundling because the high demand and low demand, they mix it in one bundle, So the low demand can be also higher if the service is higher. Okay. Other interesting public transport management that we learn is bus operator monitoring and evaluations. It seems it is very important things I learned from all these countries. In all countries that we've heard, authorities are very serious to maintain the quality by monitoring and evaluations of the operator's performance and results against the requirements in the contract. In Korea, reward and punishment are conducted yearly. There is an index of these results. All data regarding bus performance, demand, supply, etc., all are recorded in a big data in IT applications, such as in eBusNet, Bus Information Management System, etc., which all in our intelligent transportation system platform. Mr. Jason mentioned we should also use MAS. And in Korea, they put all together this platform in Topis. The same things also done in Netherlands, Taiwan. Taiwan even very serious. Okay, this is the one really interested to me. For the method using in Taiwan. So in Taiwan, for the assessment, for the monitoring and evaluations, they have a committee, so-called 4-in-1 committee. And this committee, 4-in-1, means that they have 4 duties. The first duty is route licensing. Route licensing. Second one, performance evaluations for safety and service quality. And the third one, subsidy evaluations. And the fourth one, costing and pricing, the fare. And it is really interesting that this committee member, there are 2 co-chairs. The first chair, co-chairs, it is from the university, invited professor from outside of DG Highways. And yes, the second one, it is the DG Highways. And they do also have 17 to 23 members, with 6 are professors from university. And they do also have consumer foundations. Yes, we should listen to our consumer, what they are thinking about our services. And then they're also including the associations of bus operators. Yes, in Indonesia, we have a very big association, so-called Organda. So we should ask this Organda also involve to think, what should we do for our services in bus industry. And its committee members have 2 years in duty and can have maximum 2 terms. So this one really important, because the high capacity of the university as well, they have also to have responsibility to think their country. It is not only the government. Thank you, Jason, for this one. This is very important. Okay, last point is subsidies. Yes, public transport is highly subsidized in Germany. We can have a look here. The subsidy is 5,562 billion euro. The subsidy, and the total funding is 2,461. So more than half subsidized by the government. And in Netherlands, it is also the same. An annual broad goal-oriented grant, BDU, is provided by the government to provinces and regional authorities for implementations of the Central Integral Traffic and Transport Policy. And this BDU includes subsidies for costs of operations on public transport because the fare revenues of the operators are too low. Yeah. And public bodies, yeah, the government, the transport authorities purchase the service from private companies. Yeah, it is by the service. Yes, we just tried in Indonesia such kind of by the service system. Yeah, we just implemented this year to 5 cities. Yeah, so I think we should learn a lot. Yeah, so it is not only trying out or piloting project. Yeah, but it should be for the whole countries, I think. Okay. So with all of the things that we learn a lot from you, thank you so much. Yeah, what should we do next? So licensing system on passenger road public transport has to be evaluated and reformed. Yeah, we should reform how to give more chance to our people for being involved in this industry. And then we should also reform how to become an efficient operator. Yeah, they can use their bus, yeah, the utilities as much as possible. And then the service quality also became more important. Without good quality, and then people just ignore it. Criteria now ensured through service contracts, yeah, between operators and the authorities. Yeah, license which given to each vehicles in fixed appointed route and for 1 year, valid for 1 year. I think it has to be deregulated, Mr. Director General. Then funding sustainability, it is a key of the high quality operations. If we would like to create public transport to be our people's choice of mode, yeah, now our people's choice of mode are motorcycles. Yeah, almost 80% of our people, they are riding very dangerous motorcycles. So the government subsidy really need, especially for urban public bus. So we should thinking how to make a sustainable subsidy. Yeah, what is the source of fund? Yeah, probably we can take it by earmarking from vehicle tax or fuel tax. Yeah, we don't recognize this fuel tax in Indonesia because up to now it is still subsidized. Or probably from demand management such as electronic route pricing and etc. So it means that we have to do the deregulation. Yeah, this is very important. So this is one of our results from this webinar. Yeah, because this is the moment for us by having the new omnibus law for the new job creations. Yeah, so we should do something to upgrade, yeah, to our services. So there are other important reform. Yeah, other important reform also to be done in monitoring and evaluations of public transport operator performance by reward and punishment system. Yeah, we have to be aware. Without evaluation, without monitoring, and the operators, they can do what they want. For doing this, the collaborations between government, academia, and industry are needed to control this performance. And the next one, it is the establishment of advanced and strong and powerful information technology strong and powerful. Yeah, once again, it is not only a pilot project. Yeah, to manage road public transport system in order to provide better, more reliable, more comfortable, more convenient services. Yeah, such as we should have smart card system. Yes, we do have now, but this is only partial. Yeah, so we should establish this smart card system, and also such kind of management system, BMS, yeah, bus management system, data system management. Yeah, so this is very important. Yeah, for the information, the ITS. And finally, bus route licensing and assessment committee. Yeah, we do hope that from now we should think, yeah, it is not only the responsibility of the government. Yes, university, they are open to assist their country, the foundations, the bus operator associations. Organda, so please, I hope you do also have responsibility, yeah, to improve our services. So that's all my comments. Once again, thank you to all of you. And we are expecting quick actions from our government and all the stakeholders. Good luck to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eli. Please give a virtual applause to Dr. Eli for this useful insight, especially about what should we do next in transportation in Indonesia. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment for all the other participants to be involved because we are entering the Q&A session. And on behalf of the organizing committee, we apologize in advance if your question cannot be read because of the amount of question against our time limits. Before we take the first question from other participants, we would like for Dr. Chu to ask question directly to Mr. Jason.
Mbak Bunga, thank you very much. Especially, I would like to raise my question to Prof. Jensen from Taiwan University. Prof, as mentioned by Ibu Eli in her presentation, and according to your presentation too, in Taiwan, you have a forum so-called 4-in-1. The task of 4-in-1 committee, one is out route licensing, performance evaluation, subsidy evaluation, and costing and pricing committee, who involved directly with government doing many things, control and even making decisions and developing public transportation. I would like to ask you, can you tell us how did you do from the university and what's the regulation for this very interesting collaboration? And I would like also to introduce Ms. Diani from the National Planning Agency of Republic Indonesia. Maybe interesting and very interesting for discussing about this matter. Thank you.
Mr. Jason?
Oh, yes.
Can you respond?
Yes, as I mentioned, first of all, we do have the so-called deregulation policy 30 years ago. So we open the market. So the operator, starting from 12 to 15 company. Now it's more than 55 companies. Okay, but behind this, as a professor, we do have several we call the research project sponsored by our central government, Ministry of Transport and Communication. So we help them to come out the deregulation policy. Now, this is the first. Second, we help them to come out the guideline for performance evaluation. And third, our universities, together with other partners, we help to do to conduct the performance evaluation every 3 months in the very beginning. And in the past 10 years, about 6 months, you know, for all companies, for all 55 companies in Taiwan, and also for each of the route. So as Ellie mentioned, it's really a serious process. But because of the process, so that all the chairman and president of the company take very serious on the evaluation, because the result of the evaluation do have the impact on their extension of their new line, and also the application of the new line. So I think that already generate a very positive feedback. Okay. And then our university also helped to come out the bus network optimization. As you know, through the years, because demand will change, technology will change, vehicle will change, and also we need to have the intermodal station. So we need to have the optimization for the bus network. And with the network, we need to reissue or redesign our network. So probably the existing bus route will be changed. And so as a professor, we help them to do the optimization. And last but not least, Dr. Ellie also mentioned very important issue is the financial sustainability. And I mentioned we have the public bus transit enhancement grant, right? 2/3 of the grant basically provided for the subsidy for vehicle procurements, particularly for the low floor bus and for the ticketing system and for the bus information system. Okay. And so, however, we need to have a sustainable financial scheme. And we also help the central government to do the planning, design of the financial, the sustainable financial scheme. Okay, that's my answer to the question. I hope those are helpful. I'm sorry, I have to leave for another conference.
Okay, thank you.
If you have a further question, I will please to talk with you through other opportunity. Okay.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Prof.
Thank you.
That is a great chance for university to involve the policy making process about public transport regulation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jason Chang.
Thank you, Dr. Ali.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jason Chang. And now I would read the question that came in and has been curated the organizing committee. Bapak Ibu, saya akan membacakan pertanyaan yang sudah masuk dan sudah dikurasi oleh rekan-rekan panitia. And the first question is from, it's from Indonesian Transportation Attaché in Netherlands to Mr. Sung Ho Cho. The question is, in Indonesia's case, as already discussed, even every single bus, they have a license. So this bus cannot change their route and they have to be renewed every year, taking time, money, and still manually communicating. Yes, it is too rigid. We do hope that is becoming the one that the government of Indonesia will evaluate to change. So the question is, can you tell us the situations in Korea and what is your suggestion, Mr. Sung Ho Jo?
Yes.
You can answer the first question from Mr. Husnu, Indonesian Transportation Attaché in Netherlands, about situation in Korea and what is your suggestion?
Did you see my presentation?
Not yet, sir.
Did you see my presentation? I have present. Okay.
Cannot yet, sir.
Not connect. And okay, I answer my answer. In the past, most of the transportation license in Korea placed priority on the income of the transportation service provider rather than promoting safety and improving service to the public. The rules with many users belong to the operator, and there was intense competition, such as a war between route bus operation in order to maintain the program. The bus business system was reformed to semi-public project in 2004 years. And after the semi-public system, the authority of the route does not belong to operation, but to the government. If there is an increase or decrease in transportation demand, or if the government reorganizes routes to improve public service, the bus service provider operate buses according to the route set by government. And description of the semi-public system, semi-public prosperity system. The key to the semi-public prosperity system is system in which the government and private cooperate with the bus operating system centered on the bus company. The semi-public prosperity system is operated by combining public equity and private options. It converts routes into publicly owned routes, converts separate pairs for each route into integrated transport pairs. Jointly manages the transportation income of individual companies and bus operator, and pay transportation cost as standard transportation cost. And the Korea is a country with advanced IT technology. The e-business system was created because Seoul officials thought that it would be more efficient to exchange various data and document quickly and accurately using the internet network than to manually receive document from bus operator and contact them. With the e-BusNet system, bus operator do not need to meet the lobby transportation departure official and try to benefit from bus operator. The government is making bus operator disadvantage if they do not upload or download data using the e-BusNet system. Has your question been answered?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sung Ho Jo.
Yeah.
Does the other expert want to respond to Mr. Sung Ho Jo? Maybe Dr. Ellie? Or we can move on to the next.
Mbak Bunga, to
Ya, Ibu, belum terdengar suaranya, boleh di-unmute.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead to other questions because there are still a lot of questions has to be raised.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sung Ho
Thank
Jo
you.
and Ms. Ellie. Okay,
Thank you.
the second question is from Bapak Ateng, Mr. Ateng from Organda to Mr. Leo Haring. There are two questions. The question is, in the case of permit granted by an authority, is there any protection for the permit recipient? In what form? The second question, from the existing experience regarding public transport policies, how often do they change the policy and what are they generally cost? Mr. Leo Haring, you can answer the question. Mr. Leo.
Yes, do you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, please can you repeat the first question?
Okay, the first question is, in the case of permit granted by an authority, is there any protection for the permit recipient? In what form?
Actually, I don't know. Simple.
Okay. The second question is, from the existing experience regarding public transport policies, how often do they change the policy and what are they generally cost?
They do not change the policy often, but there is a continuous development. You know that 50 years ago, all the regional transport companies were owned by the Dutch Railways, and the Dutch Railways was owned by the central government. So it was a system completely under the responsibility of the government. But then, when we started to do business with the EU, the Dutch Railways were forced to sell the tram and bus companies, the regional tram and bus companies, to other companies that penetrated the Dutch market. The current situation now is, and that is what I showed, that under the central government, only the railway transportation, the main line, is under the responsibility of the central government, but all the other systems and networks are under the responsibility of the provincial and regional authorities. And they make proposal for the development of their systems. And that is not only the bus, but because the bus in the western part of the country, contribution of the bus is only 80% of the number of passengers. So the main streams are on the railway. So there is a constant development also in the development of the regional railways. In the past, we had one main line from Amsterdam to Rotterdam and several regional railway lines. But the regional railway lines in the past 20 years are now all light rail or metro lines integrated in the systems in the bigger cities. And that is that's an important, that's why I also showed the railway in my presentation, because the railway or railways, rail systems, are the major major operators serving most passengers.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Leo Herring, for the answer. Is there any response for our expert? Or we go to the next question?
Please go to the next one.
Okay, thank you very much. Terima kasih, Mr. Leo. Oke, kita akan menuju ke pertanyaan selanjutnya. The next question is from Mr. Handa from the Ministry of Transportation to Mr. Daniel Bongard. Mr. Daniel, can you hear me? Okay. There are 3 questions from Mr. Handa from Ministry of Transportation. The first question is, are there any pro and cons in implementing that scheme in your country? The second one, what are the requirements needed to implement that scheme in your country? And the last question is, in the future, for improvement purpose, are there any plan to change the scheme, or you think there is something has to be changed? What is it and why?
Hey, yeah, thank you for those questions. Quite tough ones. So pros and cons in Germany for the scheme. I think in the current COVID crisis, we see that there is, of course, a burden for the public budgets to keep the system running. So further and more subsidies are needed to keep the level of service and the service quality. While at the same time, the people traveling dropped a lot. But at the same time, it's a pro because we have these contracts between the government and the operators. So the government can negotiate with the operators to maintain the service even in the crisis and to provide a safe and secure travel experience. So in that respect, it's also a benefit of the system. And it comes, however, to a certain cost. So I think there are further benefits to it. I think one of the main benefits is to really take the perspective of the customer. So what makes you to shift from the private car or motorbike or any other transport mode to the public transport? So only a convenient, air-conditioned, safe, timely, scheduled public transport system really is the way for people to choose. Only if you are forced to use public transport because you don't have other means, low quality is still used. But if you want to convince people who have the choice, you need high quality. So, and you need to finance the system. And my recommendation here for further improvements is to rather tax and take costs, for example, through road charges, congestion charging in cities, parking fees, put this in public transport investment funds and use these funding for investing in public transport. In this way, really push and pull incentives are given to the citizens and the customers. So they have a high quality, which pulls them into the public transport system. And there are incentives in terms of paying for using other modes that are less beneficial for the cities and are polluting the air and causing road safety challenges. So to shift away. So in that respect, I think there's a need for improvement, even in Germany still, because in many German cities, there's still quite a
a lot of, or not a very high cost for public car ownership. So this also explains why we have this high usage of cars at the same time, and many cities in Germany suffer from it. So the requirement needed to implement the second question, I'm not 100% sure what was meant here. So
excuse me, Daniel.
Yeah,
excuse
please.
me. Yes, before the second questions, I just would like to make some clarifications for the first questions, because we do in Indonesia also facing the same problem during COVID, because the bus capacity, it has to be reduced to 50%. Yeah, and probably only up to 70% maximum. So it means that the company, they will got lost. But even for the people, because we are reducing the capacity, it means that we should increase the frequencies. Yeah. So this is really a dilemma for us. So who will pay for this one? Because if we increase the fare and the people really leave it. Yeah. So you mentioned that you took some money from such kind of tax and etc. But is it possible during the same year, it is quite quick, you can take this money from that one? Or what the Germany do to solve this problem? Because it is very soon we should solve this problem.
So two things happened. Very good question. Two things happened. First is, I think the municipal governments, the cities, so they have to increase their contribution to the public transport companies. So at the end of the year, usually there is a coverage of the loss of the public transport company. So in this year, they will suffer and they have to take up loans or plan for the further budget, how to differentiate the budget in the next years. And this is certainly a challenge for many cities. So the national government decided to put in place in June an investment program for green recovery. And in this investment program for green recovery, there's a certain section on supporting cities with public transport. So I think if I have it in mind correctly, it could be a little bit more, a little less, but it's about 10 billion euro that the national government provided to the cities to keep the public transport level and the service quality in this. And this is funded by loans, so it has to be paid back in the coming years. But the government hopes that through the investment now, the economic growth will continue and don't drop too much. So the economic growth in the future years can refund those investments now. That's the hope, but we still don't know whether this works out.
Thank you.
I think I'm done, because the second question, I didn't really understand 100%. So what the requirement needed is to implement what system. You would have to explain me the question again, Ibu Bunga.
The last question, sir?
The second one.
Okay, the second one. What are the requirements needed to implement that scheme in your country? Okay.
Requirement needed.
Okay, or we go to the next question, the third question. In the future,
okay.
Yeah,
I think this I already mentioned. So the future improvement at the moment, so there is not a lot of things planned. It's mainly a discussion in the cities, on the city level, not on the national government. So how to improve their planning systems. And so it's very different from city to city. For example, in Berlin, the capital of Germany, there has been a discussion to further foster sustainable modes like public transport as well as cycling and walking. And so there has been installed a so-called mobility law or mobility act. And this mobility act gives further priority in the cities to the sustainable modes, which also means that more bus lines, more bus routes and dedicated bus lanes will be dedicated, but as well cycling infrastructure. And this also means a reallocation of space from the car to walking and cycling and public transport. But other cities have not taken yet the decision. So on the national level, the system is very stable. As in the Netherlands, there's not a lot of changes in the moment to be envisaged. But each of the individual cities is currently acting.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Thank you very much for your answer. Is there any statement? Because this is unfortunately will be the end of our Q&A session.
Yeah, I think it is okay, Mbak Bunga, because we still have one more speech from the Director of Transport, Pak Ahmad Yani. I think we should proceed then. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your answer, the panelists and the speaker. We go to the next session. Unfortunately, this will be the end of our Q&A, but not yet the end of our webinar. We apologize. We apologize for other questions that are not being read and answered by our expert. Okay, the next session is the certificate. Okay. Okay. Next. Okay. We humbly present a certificate to all of our speakers, of course. Right now, we will present it virtually. Will be given by Bu Eli Sinaga. Bu Eli.
Yes. To all of our speakers, yeah, we learned a lot from all of you. Firstly, from the Director General. Yeah, we hope that next time, stakeholders, it is not only your responsibility to improve our public transport services, but also this university and even the consumer itself, it has to be involved. So thank you so much, the Director General, Pak Budi Setiadi. Pak Budi, is it still here, Pak Ahmad Yani?
Pak Budi is already, I am
okay.
here, Yani.
Okay. I think Pak Yani is in charge of Pak Budi. So we deliver the certificate for the DG. Thank you so much for the participations. And the second one, it is for Mr. Yes, this one for Pak Budi. Thank you very much, Pak Budi. And then the second one, it is for Daniel. Thank you so much, Daniel. Please, the certificate. Yeah, so we just could send this virtual certificate. Thank you so much for your share. Hopefully next time, I think you should coming here again to Indonesia. And we are, because I worked with you a long time ago, 10 years ago, I think. Yes, you should come again then. Thank you so much, Daniel. Okay, thank you. And then the next one, Mr. Seung Ho Jo. Mr. Jo from Korea.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your participations and for your effort, yeah, and then answer our questions. Thank you so much. And I heard from you that with my lot of questions to you, you would like to come to Jakarta once COVID gone. Okay, we are waiting for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the third one for Jason. I think Jason probably is already left. Jason, are you still here? Yes, actually Jason and me, we have to be in one other webinars. Yeah, so I think, already left for chairing other seminar. Thank you for Jason. And last but not least, yeah, to my colleagues, Mr. Leo, Meneer Leo. Yeah, so actually, Mr. Leo from Netherlands, yeah, he's grown up in Indonesia. Yeah, so you should come to see your kampung here again to Indonesia. Thank you. So much, and thank you also for the attaché from in Netherlands, Mr. Muhammad Husnu, yeah, to arrange this event. Thank you so much, Leo. We are waiting also for you in Jakarta. Oh yeah, one more thing also for my dear son Hananto. Attaché in Washington DC, because he woke up early morning. Yeah, so thank you so much, dear Hananto. Yeah, we learn a lot. So this is the benefit that you are staying in US. You should share a lot from US to your country. Thank you, Dr. Hananto. Thank you so much. So that's all, I think, Mbak Bunga.
The last is for you, Miss Ellie. Will be given by Rector. Pak Chu, silakan Pak Chu.
Bu Eli, that is the very, very high appreciation for Bu Eli, and would like to give the certificate, special certificate, that is Bu Eli as the organizer, initiator, and of everything about this webinar. Thank you very much.
Salut to
I would like to
Ellie Sinaga.
webinar this time.
Thank you, Pak Chu.
Yeah, Bu Eli, thank you very much for your effort, the extraordinary effort that seminar success.
Thank you so much.
And
Okay.
Mbak Bunga.
Okay, now is the time for photo opportunity. To all of our speakers, please look into your camera so that we can immortalize this moment and make sure your camera is turned on. Okay, let's take a picture in 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, once again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you very much to all of our speakers. Before we ended our webinar, there will be a closing remarks from Director of Land Transportation, Ministry of Transportation, Mr. Ahmad Yani, ATD-MT. Kepada Pak Ahmad Yani, silakan.
Terima kasih atas semuanya, atas semua dukungannya luar biasa, Mas Anda. Kemudian Mbak Bunga ini luar biasa. Ya.
Sama-sama Pak. You're welcome.
Ya, terima kasih sekali, menarik sekali webinar pada hari ini. Terima kasih Bu Eli.
Terima kasih.
Dan juga teman-teman dari ITL juga yang telah terlibat dalam panitia ini.
Oke.
Terima kasih semua atas perannya luar biasa. Mas Ananto, ya di Amerika, terima kasih. Katanya Bu Eli bangun masih tengah malam bisa.
Izin Pak Chu, kita mendengarkan dulu closing remarks dari
ya, dari Mas Yani. Oke. Ya Mas Yani, monggo.
Pak Ahmad Yani boleh di-unmute terlebih dahulu untuk audionya, mohon izin.
Ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. I would like to deliver my grateful to all speakers from Netherlands, Germany, Korea, and Taiwan for sharing knowledge, experience, and the best practice to us in order to improve our road public transport licensing scheme. I also would like to thank both discussion Indonesia Transport Attaché Washington DC and Indonesia Transport Expert Dr. Ellie Sinaga, my mother, my former lecturer when I was in college. All good thing that we had to this webinar from speaker presentation and from discussion afterward will be a follow-up with the meeting between Directorate General Land Transportation and Institute of Transportation and Logistics, Trisakti, in order to develop a new and improved road public transport licensing scheme in Indonesia, and also in line with one of the goals of our new omnibus law called job creation, which is a simplified business and investment licensing scheme, include the road public transport business licensing in our ministry transportation has mentioned before. I hope we will have another cooperation with Netherlands, Germany, Korea, Taiwan, and another countries in terms of sharing best practice that will improve our public transport services for all people who live in all around Indonesia. Last but not last, thank you to all webinar participants who have attended and delivered questions and suggestions that will give us broader knowledge. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. God bless us all. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmad Yani, for your closing remarks from the Director of Land Transportation, Ministry of Transportation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have come to an end of our webinar, Benchmarking on Passenger Vehicle Public Transport Licensing Scheme Against Other Countries. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express gratitude to all of our speakers for today and also all of our participants. Thank you. See you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless us all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
All of us,
Mas
thank you
Mbak
very
Bunga.
much.
Mas
Hananto, thank you Hananto.
Terima kasih.
Thank you, bye-bye. Semua
See you
panitia.
later, sir.
Sangat appreciate.
And now you may leave the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much Pak Yani, makasih. Anda, terima kasih.
Kita lanjutkan Bu, hari Kamis Bu.
Foto session buat panitia katanya. Foto session buat panitia.
Oke, selanjutnya foto session untuk teman-teman panitia yang sudah berjuang. Sudah mengatur sedemikian rupa acara hari ini, luar biasa. Ibu Eli, terima kasih banyak. Pak Rektor, terima kasih banyak.
Mbak Bunga,
Pak Ade, Mas Ari. Oke. Kita foto bersama ya.
Foto bersama. Terima kasih Pak Cuk.
Ya, oke, masih.
Saya langsung bahas Pak Cuk nih besok.
Ya, Mas Yani. Terima kasih, Mas. Kami siap mendukung.
Siap, Bu. Bapak, Pak Cuk.
Baik, kita foto Bapak Ibu. 3, 2, 1. Once again, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bunga.
Terima kasih semuanya, sehat selalu.
Pak Bunga, Pak Yani, Mr. Leo Haring.
Thank you, Jo.
Thank you, Mr. Leo.
Ayo.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Ketemu di next webinar.
Terima kasih ya. Mas Roni, semua. Kita terima kasih banyak semuanya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih semuanya.
Oke.
Untuk mantap ya.
Is goed gegaan, hè? Ja, maar het is ook beter in zo'n ruimte. Ja. En de oude vroeger was niet zo geschikt. Zo. Ja, ik zie nog beelden. Ja, hij is nog niet, hij heeft nog niet verlaten.
Dengan background.
Campur dengan backgroundnya dinonaktifkan aja atau gimana ya?
Enggak, tadi emang nggak bisa di on cam, say.
Oh, sekarang gimana?
Just slapen. Ja, ik ben ook een beetje middenwerk.
Ya. Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Kaca.